Game day, bitches. Game day. God, I don't care what it means, man, when it comes to exhibition football. No matter what it means. Get a chance to see your boys out there. You get a chance to see your coaches in action. You get an opportunity to see how all the talk has been. 14 sacks in the formaldehyde jar on Tuesday. Will it translate tonight? So if the Eagles look at tonight's game as a non-factor, and they're going to take what they did on Tuesday and not take the more quality reps. The quality reps, they are quality reps, though. Not taking it away on what they did in the joint practices. But exhibition football is more of a game situation and how the games are going to look on Sunday or on September 6th. But as always, the signature open here on the Big Sills Show, National Football Show. Big Sills! Got some big topics. Xander will join us at 3:30. We will also talk to our friend Jason Cole from Yahoo Sports, Pro Football Insider and NFL voter for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Appreciate you guys so much. By the way, looking to get to over 250 likes. You guys have been crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. Please hit the like button. We appreciate it. All right, like I said, game day. They had the practice on Tuesday. You take a lot out of that. You do. Not saying you don't. Not saying you don't. But I get more out of tonight because it's actual game situation, game tempo. That joint practice is not game tempo at all, in any way whatsoever, except the drills are live. Do you understand that that thing does not duplicate a game? When you're talking joint practice versus an exhibition football game, they're completely different just in how you approach it. There's no coaching in games. There's coaching in practice. So it's a completely different mindset. Hey, look, the Patriots are not good. I'm not suggesting to you that that thing would have looked better for New England on Tuesday. And if it's landing like that, I don't want you to think that. New England's an awful team. They just basically threw up the white flag today by sending Matthew Judon to the Atlanta Falcons for a third-round pick, which I think is pretty high for a 31-year-old guy. Hey, he's been great the last 2 years. Make no mistake about it. And that helps Atlanta a ton. Boy, I'll tell you, man, Atlanta, if that quarterback can give them some yardage this year and he can be efficient for 17 weeks, Atlanta's going to be a player. I'm going to be interested in what kind of team that football team's going to roll out on Sundays, especially in a shitty division like the NFC South. That's a pretty damn good pickup. Remember what I've been telling you? Their O-line's good. Bijan, Pitts, Cousins. I said getting home would be an issue for Atlanta. Well, they kind of addressed that. They addressed it. So, gave up a third-rounder for him. This late, August 15th, they're desperate. They're desperate. Hey, that's right, JM. And if they sign Justin Simmons, boy, I tell you, Atlanta could be somebody. The Atlanta Falcons just might be somebody this year. What to look for tonight? What are you guys looking for tonight in this exhibition game? By the way, do I think the offensive guys will play? Probably not. But you could take away Kellen Moore's actions, and you can watch what they're going to try to do fundamentally, especially on defense. I think the defensive guys are going to play. And by the way, I heard John and Xander talking. How in the fuck do you not put Nakobe Dean out there tonight for 3 quarters when he's only played 218 snaps in his entire NFL career? And you're telling me the Ravens exhibition game and a practice game, you're comfortable playing him against the Packers in a regular season ball game with 218 career snaps? Where's the common sense to that? That guy needs so many reps, it's ill. I heard John say something else. Nakobe's the best linebacker on the Eagles. That's frightening. That is frightening. If that guy's your best backer. It's frightening. If that's he's terrible. He's terrible. Okay? And 218 snaps. A practice and an exhibition game he was fair in. Nakobe Dean's only played 218 NFL snaps. And you're going to roll him. Are you not going to play him against Minnesota? And you're just going to roll him out against Jordan Love. That is absolutely ridiculous. Who would even think that's remotely? I guarantee you Vic Fangio doesn't think that's good. That guy has to get reps. Dude, let's see who he is. Stop hiding him. So what to look for defensively tonight? I want to look at the linebackers, not just him. I want to look at the core, and I want to see the rotation that Vic Fangio rolls out there tonight. I want to see how they put combinations together. Dude, he's not setting any. I guarantee you this. Here's the guys that have won jobs. By default, Bryce Huff's won a job. By default, Nolan Smith. No. Nolan Smith hasn't won that. Josh Sweat has. Josh Sweat has won a job. Jalen Carter's won a job. Darius Slay's won a job. Jordan Davis has won a job, and probably Milton. No one else has won a job. Both your safeties, probably Reed has won a job. Left cornerback 2 hasn't won a job. Your safety position is injury prone. I mean, I don't think really anybody has won a job in that secondary. I want to see the edge rushers tonight. What are you going to do with them? You're going to put them out in space in a 7-9 technique? How are you going to rush the passer? Let's see what different types of formations. By the way, we're going to give you more. Now, when we talk in a couple of minutes about Vic Fangio, I had a great conversation. Again, I followed up with Butch Davis and Dave Wanstead, and I got more of a detailed on what to expect this year from Vic Fangio's type defense and his scheme. So it might be a little bit technical for you. So forgive me on that if it gets a little bit really over the top a little bit here. Stills, listening to Johnny Mack, you'd think that Dean is going to pop out of his cocoon as a beautiful butterfly. I hope he's right, because Dean looks like a slug. He's totally terrible. He's not a good football player. I have seen no redeeming qualities about him playing good. I've seen a couple plays where he's made okay, they look good. Other than that, he's not made any impact. When I look at him, Trotter's made more of an impact. Actually, get this. You want to hear something crazy? Hey, how many months has it been since Trotter's been drafted? April, May, June, July, August. In 5 months, Jeremiah Trotter's done more as a Philadelphia Eagle than Nakobe Dean has done in 2 years. I mean, and get this, he's growing as a player. Jeremiah Trotter in 5 months has shown me more of the ability to play that position than that guy in 2 years has. And these people that cover the fucking Eagles are swearing to you that this guy's the best backer on that team. Where? That guy couldn't make a ball team in the league. Only in Philly, because they drafted him 3rd round. If you put him on the open market right now, you'd get a 6th or 7th for him. His value's not 3rd round. You think that guy's a 3rd round player? Fred Warner's a 3rd round player. Edge rushers. I want to see him tonight. Patriots aren't a good team. It's not a good roster. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Okay? Zaguero's pretty balanced, and he hasn't said Dean is the best linebacker. Look, man, I'm not going to make a show on this. I want to see the secondary. How are you going to mix and match? Who are you going to put out there? Who's going to play safety? Who's going to? How many times are you going to? You know, it's really weird. They're putting Quinton Mitchell in the slot. Okay, why are you putting him in the slot? You want to get him on the field? Okay, you drafted him to be a corner, though. What's the problem out there? You mean to tell me he can't beat a guy out that's been out of ball, who bet on turtles, racing? He can't beat Isaiah out? Really? This guy's the first pick in the draft. He's your 22nd pick. He can't beat him out? Why? Inexperience? Vic's not comfortable? Probably all that. Okay? Probably all that. Picking up a system? Probably true. He did play zone at Toledo. Whatever that means. But he played zone, so he understands the concept. I mean, KC says, what edge rushers? We have none. Sweat will give you 6 in 17. That's his ceiling. KC, I think 6 to 8 sacks for Josh Sweat is probably around right. That's probably sounds right. Sills, he's able to be versatile and able to play multiple positions. Maybe Vic Fangio is not comfortable with what he's seen with the other players in different positions. Yeah, but I'm going to play him at his best position. What's his best position? Slot safety? Or you're going to put him up? They're two completely different positions and skill sets. You're not talking about a guy floating over and playing something completely that's kind of compatible with one another. Slot safety, nickel, and corner, completely different things. Completely different responsibilities. Completely different techniques. I mean, look, once again, this isn't a rip. But does Vic see? My question will be, is Vic going to play these young guys? Is he going to play these young dudes? Okay? Maybe Rodgers just playing that damn well. Matt, yeah, I believe that. I like it. Hey, Matt, you're not wrong here with this. That's not a horrible take, Matt. Plus, I love his attitude. I love everything about Isaiah. I'm asking questions here, Matt. I'm not indicting anybody except Dean. I will indict Dean until further notice, and I see something great, and I see consistency with games after game and plays after play. I'm not going there. I get this. 1 out of every 7 plays, he makes a good play. I'm not going to sit there and tell you he's a good player. Okay? That's not what I'm going to do. I want to see Vic's combinations tonight. Kellen Moore with the ball. I want to see Will Shipley tonight. How are they going to use him or throw him around in the room? I want to see more of him. I want to see, obviously, pretty much the normal cast of characters here. The right guard position, I want to see how that rolls out. I got to tell you, that right guard position, Xander and I had a great conversation yesterday. Boy, are they in a pickle with this Mekhi Becton thing. If that guy plays well, he leaves. Then you're back to Steen and Trevor Keegan. I'll tell you what, man. I want to get Keegan some snaps tonight. You know why? Because I may only have 1 year of Mekhi Becton. So I need to get Keegan ready for next year, which means I need to get him some snaps. And I don't want to get him snaps during the regular season, so I'm playing him tonight against New England a ton, and I'm playing him against Minnesota next week a ton. I need to get him ready. That guy is going to be the heir apparent guard at right guard for the Philadelphia Eagles in the future, because you're not going to be able to keep Becton. Becton plays 17 games. he'll make a Pro Bowl and $20 million in the open market and get a chance to move back to his natural position of left tackle. We're giving a team the ability to have to move him over to guard if they need so. He's going to make a killing. If that guy plays well, he's gone. Unless there's some epiphany where they come up with some psychotic deal and way to keep him. He's gone if he plays. You know, they're kind of like downplaying how good he's done. He's been pretty good for a guy that's never played right guard, and that guy in space at 6'8". You know the first thing you do when you're – do you know what Aaron Donald would do to him? Because he's so big and trying to get down, he would get as low as he possibly can and power rush him. Some would say with Tills, he's like 350 pounds. Yeah, but remember something. Him getting out of a stance in space like that, it's a lot tougher than when you get to slide your feet right tackle or left tackle. You don't have the room to operate down in there. You have to be quicker, actually, at the guard position. That's what those guys are usually like. Landon Dickerson is quicker than Lane Johnson. He's not better. He's quicker. Why? Those guys in the middle are quicker. You got to be quick in the middle. Okay, I mean, you can't pay all five. You can't pay all five offensive line. That's why you get Keegan on a rookie deal still. That's the point. It's a pretty tough little nugget that they're going to have to deal with at the end of the season. I want to see tight end too. You know why I need to see tight end too? Hey, Grant Calcaterra, you're going to play this year because Dallas Goedert's going to get hurt. And I need you to be ready. Or I need something to be ready at tight end too. I'm sick and tired of getting down in stretch runs in the last 2 years, and I don't have my top guy to go across the middle of the field and threaten linebackers. I don't care how good Dallas Goedert is. You need to get Grant Calcaterra. It's too bad that you got two Balsa Wood players playing that position. They're injury prone, both of them. And you need to keep an eye on that. Okay? You need to keep an eye on that because you know why? I think Kellen Moore wants to go to two tight end set. You imagine putting Calcaterra and also Dallas Goedert and two tight ends. And then you've got flanked out, you've got Devontae, and you've got AJ, and you've got Barkley behind you, and you're going to run a power game at people? You kill teams. I think he wants to run two tight end set. Well, you got to have healthy guys to run two tight end set. Keegan's going to be the guy over at right guard next year. That's my money. Okay? That's my money. I want to see wide receiver 3. It's absolutely a pathetic position. It's a low volume position. However, you've got to get some competency there. You just have to have a competent guy in there. Make a coordinator have to defend a position. Do you realize the last 2 years? Hey, by the way, Quez Watkins is better than anything you have on the team right now. That sucks to say that. You haven't upgraded from Quez. You have not upgraded. And he's terrible. You have not upgraded. Britton Covey's not an upgrade to Quez Watkins. He's not an upgrade. You have not shown one ability to have an upgrade from Queasy Watkins. Okay? I want to get some competency in that pick. Abe goes, Queasy couldn't catch worth a damn. You don't have anything in there now that I can trust. You have no experience. Paris Campbell stunk in New York. Stop acting like this guy was Odell Beckham Jr. in New York. He was terrible. Who's Ross? Jeff Ross, the comedian? Give me a break. You're talking to me about nobodies. I need competent players at that position. Show me there's some competency. Show me it's a position that a coordinator will go, we still have to defend it. Coordinators haven't had to defend that position in 2 years. Yeah, does Jeff Ross play your number 3 receiver position? Ross, give me a break. Oh, he's fast, Sills. Yeah. So is Noah Lyles. Why don't you give him a uniform? That kickoff bullshit thing, I want to see it tonight a little bit. Michael Clay has done a really nice job with the special teams the last 2 years. Okay? He's done a really nice job with the special teams. But that kickoff thing, man, I'm still confused with it. I mean, how many people in here get it? I don't still get it. I mean, I kind of do. But I don't know, man. I really just don't see it. What the league is trying to accomplish. I still see high volume hits in this thing. I don't know. I don't know. Keegan will play, but only because they don't want to risk injuring Becton. Some results, but I agree with you, Sills. Thank you, JB. Appreciate it. Sills, I'm not as concerned at wide receiver 3 because I believe 12 personnel is a better system for the team. You're talking about maybe sliding Barkley into that role where he could be actually the third guy and the third option in that tree. Probably so. Okay. Sills, the kickoff rule is just as confusing as a hobby horse. Hey, dude, it's confusing. I think you're going to have a lot of big plays off that thing because people are confused and teams are confused. I don't really see the logic to it right now. Why didn't you just leave well enough alone, man? I mean, kickoffs are what? Hey, you want to really make an impact? Move it back to the 20. You want to get kickoffs back in the game? Move it back to the 20-yard line. Oh, but then there's hits. Oh, that's right. I forgot. You got to worry about concussions. Come on, man. Hey, by the way, I want to start this off by doing this. What did I see here? The respect level for your quarterback outside of Philadelphia is nowhere. So Emmanuel Acho goes, when I look at Jalen Hurts, I don't see an all-pro quarterback. I just don't see it. Those are his words. Because I don't see it. And Atlantic City and Vegas has the number this year for Jalen's passing yards at 35-25, over-under, and touchdown passes at 21.5. That's like Mid-America Conference quarterbacking. Hey, how's that for you? How's that for you, man? See, you're the Vegas and Atlantic City has Jalen Hurts at 35-25 and 21 touchdowns. It's not me saying it. I'm not setting a line. Over under, baby. Hit 3,500 yards. What quarterback in the NFL today is considered a big-time QB in this league? Throws for 3,500 yards. Shit. The guy in Atlanta might have 3,500 yards by week 10. Oh, man. It's going to be an interesting year, man, for sure. Angel says take the over. Okay? Seals, the media outside of Philly does not respect Hurts, but the players around the NFL do. I agree. Who would you believe? I believe the players. Players do like him. Players do respect him, and you're right. Okay? Hey, Bob, I'll give you a great one that you're so right on. Elon Musk does an interview with Donald Trump, and every media person hated it because their job's on the line. It wasn't whether or not the interview was good or not. It wasn't the point. You got to hear the president and Elon talk. That was the only point to that interview. Nobody ever said at the end of the day that Elon Musk is some professional interviewer or that Trump is some sort of great orator. It's what it is. And so when you talk about Jalen Hurts, it's the media, because when they see the prototype, he doesn't fit it. I get it. I totally get it. Look at Prince. Acho played the NFL. Hey, man, he talks a lot of shit on Jalen. He talks more shit on Jalen than I do. I actually think Jalen's a good ball player. I don't know, man. I don't think Acho thinks he is. Seals, the Dolphins are going to be $44 million over the cap next year. Do you make one of the moves on their edge rushers? I think the kid Phillips is hurt. So you're talking Chubb. Okay? You're talking Chubb. He's got a lot of money on that contract, man. Okay? He's got $21 million. Hoss, supposedly, that interview hit over $1 billion. Okay? Acho couldn't make a tackle in the NFL. Hey, wait a minute, Jonathan. He's got an opinion. It's an opinion. It's nothing to do with his playing career. His opinion has nothing to do with his playing career. Okay? Sills, how about ESPN getting fired by ESPN? Who's next? Yeah, sue over $1 billion. So, hey, I thought those numbers were interesting. Nobody really expecting a lot of things out of Jalen Hurts this year. At least the money guys aren't. Once again, those numbers don't translate to winning. So, kind of irrelevant in a way. But those are the prop bets. Sills, let's compare the media take with Hurts in your show. People will not tune in long if they just hear nice crap. Conflict creates viewers. Yeah, but Bob, here's the one thing that I do. I'm not trying to piss people off. I guess I just do it naturally. Because again, Bob, and I like your take here, but Bob, I found out one thing that pisses people off. The truth. Honest to God, it's not a hot take. A hot take doesn't piss people off. The truth does. Or your form of truth. I mean, please hit the like button, guys. The truth. I learned a lesson in my broadcasting career. You tell the truth, people get pissed off at it. Half the room's going to like you. Half the room's not going to like your take. No matter what it is. No matter what the take is. Just take a look at some of the things I say. Half the room likes it. Half the room hates it. Nobody's in the middle. I don't want you in the middle. Seals, you don't need to try. They need to try. Yeah, Fly, I agree. I used to try about 25 years ago. Anymore. Damn, Sills, he had the same stats as you. Only played 6. The only difference was that I got $500,000, and I was the 56th player drafted. And I got 3 years NFL credited to me. 4 years, actually, because of the World League. Okay, so the average NFL player, Prince, is in the league 3 years. I don't mind being average. And by the way, I got more snaps than Nakobe Dean right now. How you doing? How you doing? That's sad. When Sileo has more snaps than Nakobe Dean, that sucks. Hey, thanks, Prince. Guys, please hit the like button. All right, here. Hey, man. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for tonight. I want to get into Vic Fangio here. Guys, this is going to be, I hope, not too technical. Okay, I hope this is not going to be too technical for some of you. What are you guys expecting to see from Vic Fangio's defense this year? What are you expecting to see? What are you expecting to see out of his defensive schemes? Okay. The scheme tonight, what, or the year, for the year coming up. I heard Xander and John say that this defense can be top 15. That's a big ask. You don't have top 15 linebackers or top 15 secondary players. You fucking high? You don't have top 15 edge rushers. There's not one football player on that side of the ball outside of Jalen Carter that you would put in the top 15 players at any ranking, at any position, except Carter. Maybe Slay. There's not one guy in the top 15 over there. If you were to rank safeties, slot safeties, corners, linebackers, edge rushers, defensive tackles, you probably do. You have nobody over there. Nothing. There's there's potential, but potential doesn't win games. Consistency wins games. Knowing your job wins games. Jordan Davis is not a top. He is. Did you watch him last year, Prince, at the last 10 games of the year? Did you watch him and hear Brian Baldinger say that guy's just laying on people? Did you hear him say that? Gardner Johnson, how can Gardner Johnson be a top 15 safety when he missed and he's only played 15 games out of 34 games in 2 years? How in the world can you say that and put that out there? That Gardner Johnson's a top 15 slot safety when he's played half the games in 2 years. Come on. Come on, man. Okay. You guys keep saying that Jordan Davis is top 15 DT. Well, let's see it finally, because he hasn't played as a top 15 tackle yet. 13th pick in the draft? Sorry, guy. That ain't happening. All right. What in the world are you looking for this year? Let me be a little bit more technical on what you're going to expect from a Vic Fangio defense. Okay? His two high safeties. You're not going to like it. There is a lot of room. Let me try to explain this. Two high safeties. That's what your defense is going to have in the middle of the field. All this open space with two high safeties. All this. And they got to defend it. You have the personnel you think of linebackers and safety to cover that? You better get pressure on the quarterback. That's what two high safety looks like. They're going to play them as deep as they can. You're going to be shocked how deep they are. You're going to be shocked how deep. The room between the backers and safeties is going to be about 15 yards. That's why your linebackers. Do you know why? Why do you guys think that Vic Fangio actually likes it? It's a fundamental thought process that's correct. Why do you think that he likes Devin White and Nakobe Dean? And it makes sense that he has put those two at starter. Why do you think? Because here, when you play too deep, it's a pseudo Tampa 2. But when you play Tampa 2, you got to have a linebacker like Derek Brooks who can play the run and cover in space. And he's hoping that Devin and Nakobe, with their athleticism, can make that distance up between the safety, strong and free, and that middle of the field. The problem is they both can't cover. I mean, the guys who are really great at that were Ryan Shazier, Derek Brooks. Roquan Smith is exceptional at it. Fred Warner is tremendous at even Dre Greenlaw are tremendous at that. They're like Tampa 2 defense. You know, look, when John Lynch was building that defense and building that team, he's building it in the eyes of Monty Kiffin and Tony Dungy. Yeah, Kuechly was a guy that could play that too. Okay. Kuechly could play that position just like that too. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, he played in the Tampa 2. He played in that Tampa 2. Zach Thomas was more in a traditional 43, though, than he was in that Tampa 2. But that's the type of line. You guys remember how great of a linebacker, Hall of Famer Derek Brooks was? Derek Brooks was a Hall of Fame linebacker. And Derek Brooks could play the run and the pass and could cover backs and tight ends. It was impossible to have anything in middle zone. But look who their corners were. I mean, you had Rondé Barber back there and John Lynch knocking the shit out of people. I mean, you had Brooks in the middle. You had Barber and Lynch in the secondary. And you got pressure with Simeon Rice and Warren Sapp. Every level had a player that created pressure, cover, deep cover. You don't have that with this. This is a personnel issue. It's not a scheme issue. The scheme is fundamentally sound. That's why he's playing so many different people when it comes to his combinations. Now, remember something. If you look at his history, going back to San Francisco, even with the Stars, or even a year ago, the stuff was derailed a year ago because of injuries and people not wanting to play it because Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey they're not used to playing two high safeties. They're press corners. They're man corners. They don't want to play 10 yards off the ball. So you got to remember something. This is what you're going to see in your defense here. You're going to see two safeties so deep off the ball, and you're going to see your corners 10 yards off the ball. There's going to be a lot of room to roam in the middle of that field versus quality quarterbacks. Okay? So there's going to be a lot of room in there, and that's why those linebackers are going to be essential. Getting a jam and pressure is going to be more important than ever before. You know, like I told Prince yesterday, one of the things that made that 22 defense so good, you never gave routes an opportunity to mature because you got volume pressure and you got volume sacks. I actually think Darius Slay is going to be maybe having a rebound year, depending on how much he has left. My question with Slay will be, how does he look after week 12, 13, play high volume reps? How good will he look? Okay, how good will he look? Now, here's the deal here. When you play too high safety, this is a caveat to, again, giving up a lot of space there. What do you think giving up a lot of space does? And let's give the advantage to the defense here. I hope I'm not being too technical. Okay? What do you think playing too high safety? What do you think that does? Okay? To the quarterback. And what advantages do you have with too high safety? What's the number one advantage that you have with too high safety defense that Vic's going to run? What is the one thing that you create with that? No deep passes? Yes, that's true. Makes a quarterback more comfortable throwing underneath. Actually, where is this? Who said that? Makes the quarterback more comfortable underneath. Here it is. The underneath will be open. Man, two. That's a good one. I'm going to tell you guys. When you play deep and you play two deep safety and you have that space, what's the number one thing that thing gives you? You make the quarterback have to have post-snap progression reading. You make it harder on them, actually, because you can move to a multiple cover. Now, I hope this is not getting too much in the weeds here. When you play that too high safety, you get an opportunity to switch your coverage and make the quarterback have to have a post read on what, if he saw the free safety or strong safety pre-snap and you're playing too high safety, he sees that read and that landmark. Well, Vic is trying to create this snap, move. After the snap, you force the quarterback to make a second progression read, and it actually makes, yes, it's open, but it's going to make it more difficult for the quarterback because you can design and you can mask a different coverage that you're trying to get to because you have so much space to operate. It gives you more flexibility to make that quarterback have to have a post read after the snap of the ball. Okay? Absolutely, Bob. What Bob is saying right here, this is exactly correct. Seals, the space allows the safeties to get a read on the quarterback tendencies to jump the ball. That's exactly what they're doing here. I went back and watched that Ravens game, and you can see it plain and simple. Vic's going to play a two-deep safety, and what he's trying to do is confuse the quarterbacks. He's trying to confuse the quarterbacks after the snap, and he's disguising his coverages, making it more difficult. He knows he doesn't have the personnel back there in the secondary to sit there and just play man up. So post-snap, he's going to go to a different look. It's actually very confusing for a quarterback, especially if you're not a seasoned guy. Shift coverage. That's a way to that's a good way to think about it. So you're actually putting the advantage back on your side with that. I hope this is making sense because everyone's under the assumption, well, the underneath passes. Okay, you know what Vic wants you to do? Control and contain. That's what he's looking for you to do anyway. Vic doesn't believe your quarterback's going to make a 14-play dink and dunk play down the field, and he's going to play red zone defense with you. The number one stat that Vic Fangio wants to win this year, you know what it is? Points allowed. Points allowed. Don't give up the big plus 25. Okay? But remember something. Think about this here. Did a lot of work last night watching this. Here's something to think about too. You have to have a ton of experience back there. It's why the young guys aren't really getting a shitload of reps and why they're playing Quinyon Mitchell in the slot and not the corner. You've got to have mass communication back there because you can run into one another. And if you got a coordinator like Andy, they'll run you into each other. It's a very difficult scenario that it's a pretty complex defense. Still, the issue Vic will have is that if you surrender to space, you must tackle immediately. Poor tackling kills the soft serve system. Yeah, but here, Bob, I think that's going to be a problem league-wise. I mean, when you take the hip drop tackle out, undefended receivers and all that shit, I think you just want to keep everything underneath and try to do your best to get the guy in the ground and not give up massive field position. The NFL is different today. I mean, those 85 Bear defenses and gangrene, they're gone, dude. That's right. Right here, Tony. Tony's right. Right here. You're keeping everything in front of you. Don't ever get anything to the side of you. Don't ever get anything, obviously, behind you. Okay? Flagger says this. It's a variety of Jimmy Johnson's philosophy. Let them have some room to the 20s. Stop them, force a field goal. Absolutely. Hey, Slagger, you want to kick 6 field goals? I'll beat your ass every day. Okay? Okay? I'll give you 10 field goals. I'll beat your ass every day. You're not beating the Eagle offense with field goals. Dude, if you give up 20 points this year a game, 21 points a game this year, you're going to win a ton of games. Okay? The league is so different today. And when you watch what he's trying to do, again, I wrote this stat down here. It creates post-snap advantages for the defense, and an average quarterback, he's going to struggle with that. Like, you play now, guys like Cousins. Hey, I'll tell you what, I want to see Love. I guarantee you right now, Matt LaFleur is already breaking down that, going, hey, this guy's going to have post-snap disguise coverages on you. You better be ready for that, because you have to adjust post-snap. Your pre-snap reads go. What Vic Fangio's trying to do with his secondary, he's trying to take your pre-snap read away. It's ingenious. And actually, when you look at what he's doing, that's why Bradbury's on the team. That's why you have veteran guys that he's suspect on playing those rookie guys. Why? Dude, he's not going to put Cooper DeJean in this until that guy's 100% ready. And if he plays, it'll be a nickel or it'll be in the slot. He's trying to get Quinyon Mitchell on the field to see how that system looks and works. Don't you notice? Quinyon's in the middle of the field. He gets to see what Vic's calling. Oh, I see. You're taking pre-snap. You're taking the post-snap away. Really a difficult defense to run in the secondary. It's really complex. It's complex, but it's kind of simple what he's doing. I'm going to give you everything. Hey, he's giving you this. Why is he giving you this? He's baiting you. He's baiting you. He thinks he's going to make turnovers here. Vic's not thinking like a defensive guy who doesn't have personnel. He's thinking about guys, maybe I don't have the right guys. Well, you know what we can do? We'll set a mousetrap. This is going to be a mousetrap. This area here is the mousetrap for the Eagle defense this year. Do you have the linebackers? No. Do you really have the safeties? Probably not yet. Do you have the corners? I don't know. One's old. The other guy's brand new. Not sure. So let's give them the underneath. Let's force them to go here. You know how you do a card trick? And you have a card trick and you know what the card is when you shuffle the deck. All these magicians know the card. So they know the card. And they're trying to lead you to this. And the key will be not buying into it. Because if Vic gets you in the mousetrap, he's got you. Because he's going to change these coverages post-snap. I hope this isn't too technical. Because that's what his philosophy is. I had it explained to me even more so last night. They said, you're looking at it wrong. He's baiting you to go to the middle of the field. Why would he want you to go to the middle of the field? Think of it. That's where all the pursuit is. He doesn't want you to beat. He doesn't want to be beat on the numbers. In the middle of the field, he can make a play. He wants all the plays. Like tonight. Watch how many plays the Patriots. Because why? Drake May and Jacoby Brissett. Now, Brissett can read. But watch how many plays tonight are in the middle of the field. I guarantee you 75% of the plays will be checkdowns and over the middle. That's where he wants you to play the ball game. He wants you to play in space in the middle of the field. He's going to play two deep. He's going to play corner deep. That is exactly what he's trying to accomplish this spring, fall, and preparing you for September. Now let's go to the front seven here. When you play two high safety and you have this multiple type mentality of disguising your coverages. Your front seven has the ability to play 34, 43, 52, bear. That's why you're seeing multiple looks up front. And you're hearing even the players on the offensive side saying, we see multiple stuff. Most likely you're going to see starting out in 3Ds, and you're going to see edge rushers, and you're going to have two linebackers in the middle of the field. Two middle linebackers in the middle of the field, plus your safety high. There's that space they're creating. Now, the problem that he has is that Nolan Smith, and the only reliable pass rusher he has is truly Josh Sweat. We don't know yet what Bryce Huff is. Bryce Huff had one good year. John McMullen wants to name him Mark Gaston already. Well, he's not. You don't know that. He may come out in the first 4 games and get 10 sacks. That's not what his career has said. His career has said he had one good season. Shit, how many years has Josh Sweat had multiple sacks? And how many years has he been an Eagle? Can someone tell me? How many years did Brandon Graham have multiple sack years? What was he, an Eagle? 17 years? What do you have, 2? To sit there and say that Bryce Huff is going to turn into some multiple sack guy is fucking absurd. You don't know that. You're projecting again. On August 15th, I don't want to project shit yet. I want to know, who are you? Can I count on this? What am I looking for? Sweat's your only reliable sack guy that's going to give you reps. What does Sweat give you that Bryce Huff doesn't even remotely come close to? Durable reps and pass rushing and production. This guy's produced 60-plus tackles, 7+ sacks a year. I'm not shitting on that. Huff had 10 sacks in a secondary role. That's okay. And you're crowing over a formaldehyde practice. Great. Consistency is where you win me over. You know, this is the one thing that I say about Jalen Hurts all the time. Is it that I don't like Jalen, the player? No. I want consistency. You know, I'd rather have a cross between the 23 season and the 22 year for the next 5 years for Jalen Hurts over anything else. If I can get consistency, low turnovers, high volume of touchdowns like he does, I'm good with that. You're going to be in around the rim. What you don't want is 21, 22, and 23 all being different years because you don't know what you have yet. Okay? Now, the multiple fronts. The best thing for that team, in my opinion, you've got to get pressure. Here's the key to this too high safety thing. If Vic Fangio gets no pressure, he's cooked. He's absolutely cooked. Because guess why? You don't get pressure? I'm not taking the bait and going across the middle of the field. Travis Kelce will annihilate that. Okay? The kid in Baltimore will kill that. Edwards. So you've got to get pressure or they'll attack the numbers still. For me, the Packers, if I were the Packers playing against what Vic wants to do, I'd stay out of the middle of the field. I'd do checkdowns and attack the numbers. He wants you in the middle of the field. Unless I'm throwing a high percentage pass to Josh Jacobs in the middle of the field, I'm not going there. I'm not looking on slants and wheel routes against that defense because he's trying to bait you into it. Matt LaFleur knows this. See, this is the chess game that goes on back and forth between coordinators and play callers like Matt LaFleur. Tonight, you're going to see vanilla shit. But what you're going to see is approach. Kellen spreading the ball around. It's going to be interesting to see his motion tonight. We're gonna talk a little bit about that as well. Like, you know, I left off the list tonight. I want to see motion. Okay. Move the safety. What's your landmark? Look for landmarks tonight. Landmarks are free, strong, and linebackers. Those are your landmarks. Do they slide? Do they not? Do they don't believe them? How many times last year did Matt Patricia get exposed in that Buffalo game? Shit. Josh Allen moved the receiver. Guy came halfway to the middle of the field, went back. You knew he was in zone. It was so stupid. And the guy tried to, give such a complex defense, yet he gave the stupidest keys away and landmarks away. In that game alone, then Purdy did it, and Purdy ate him up because Purdy had multiple motions. I mean, you knew exactly what they were doing. Vic's not going to be that easy, okay? But you've got to have communication in your secondary for you to be able to do this. Sills, another issue with two deep is that your D-line must stop the run. If they can't, you have 10 yards up the middle. Oh, my God. Stopping the run is going to be imperative in this two-deep defense. Imperative that Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. And that's why they're going to that 5 front, playing 3 interior tackles. Put a guy on the shade on the nose and put 2 guys on the guards. Now, I would still do 3 and 1. What I mean by that is this. I'd put a guy on a shade, maybe strong side, the nose, and I still might play a guy, the left tackle, on a 3 technique and over here on the 1 technique. Depends. I might play them both in 3 techniques. Why is that important? Because when you have 1 technique defensive tackles, you're looking for penetration. I don't mind pass rushing on first down and being wrong. What's the one thing that throws a play off? Penetration. No matter what it is. That's what Aaron Donald made a career out of. How many times do you see him run around a block in his career? Thousands? He didn't care. Because sometimes, get this. Here was Aaron Donald's year. He'd run around 1,000 blocks, make 1,000 TFLs, and he'd have 1,000 sacks. And he's considered one of the greatest defensive tackles of all time. Okay? It's the era of today. It's the era of today. Kyle says, Sills, if Fangio sees no improvement in the edge rushers, does he ask Howie to make a trade? Kyle, it's a great question. Kyle, Vic Fangio is not Jonathan Gannon. He's not going to do and go run to his dad to fix a problem that he was hired to fix. What did Dan Quinn do when they had injuries in Dallas? Dan Quinn didn't go to Jerry Jones and ask him to get me another edge rusher. He put Micah Parsons' hand in the dirt. Then they found out he could rush the passer. When you're a high-quality coordinator, Kellen Moore or you're Vic Fangio, you're there to solve problems, not go run to the personnel department and go, we need someone. You have to fix that yourself. You don't go running. Well, we don't have a safety. That's not Vic Fangio's job. Now, if the organization wants to bring in Justin Simmons and shit and do shit like that, that's one thing. But again, that's another learning. No, not so much of a learning curve because he's played in that system. Okay, so he understands it. So, I mean, Vic Fangio is not going to run Howie. That's an indictment on Vic. Vic's got to fix this. Okay? He's got to fix this. Sills, pass rush, especially from up front in the middle, move the quarterback off his spot, disrupts timing. That kills every quarterback except Mahomes. Bob's saying this. It's true. This is what pressure does. Look for it tonight. Every quarterback has a spot that he loves to get to. Brady had one as well. Okay? They all had one. Okay? They all had one. When you move those guys around in the pocket, or if you move them left, Mike, you know what I would do if I was Green Bay? I'd move Jalen to his left. Let's see if he's gotten better at it. Let's see if he's gotten better at moving to his left. Okay? Guys, please hit the like button. We really appreciate it. We're going to hit on what I want to see tonight. We're going to continue that trend. Okay? On what I want to see tonight. Guys, I hope that wasn't too technical. But remember something. You know, everyone's like, Sills, everything's going to be open underneath. Vic wants it open. That's too high safety. That's too high safety. Mousetrap. It's a mousetrap in the middle. Okay? He don't want you on the numbers because that's where the plus 25 play comes from. But you got to have massive communication. Okay? That's why he's liking Trotter a lot more. Because Trotter's showing him he knows what he's doing in there. Okay? Guys, do me a favor. If you're looking for a sports book, this coming fall, BetUS is your place. And they've teamed up with us here at JAKIB Sports, and we're so proud to have these guys part of us here now, man. This is going to be such a great opportunity this year for you and BetUS and JAKIB Sports to go along through this magical season here. 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Absolutely awesome. Plus 200% on crypto deposits. Incredible. This is a place Michael Vick goes. So do me a favor. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa for you to make those wagers. Michael Vick loves the place. This is the home of Michael Vick. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Absolutely best wagering on all major games. Plus, if you want your own account executive, this is where you go. It is BetUS. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
Michael Vick at betus.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
the greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sills National Football Show. Guys, please do me a favor and hit the like button. We so appreciate it. Xander Krauss is going to join us at 3:30. And then our friend, Hall of Fame voter, Jason Cole, as he always does on Thursdays, is going to join us at 4:30. Please hit that like button. We'd so appreciate it. I want to show you how a football team is now admitting failure. And they're in your division. We're going to get to the game tonight here in a second. But I want to show you something here. You know how you admit failure? The New York Giants have sent Jordan Phillips to the Cowboys. Why is that? Well, the Giants aren't going to be good. The same way the Patriots aren't going to be good. And the Cowboys are now understanding Lazy Smith is not good. I told you draft day. Lazy Smith is not good. He's not going to be a player that's going to be a dude. That guy at best was a 4th rounder. I told you on draft day. What they saw on him because he went to Michigan, I never saw it. I never saw it when he played there. There's a kid there right now that's better. And he is a top flight defensive tackle, interior tackle. Dude, Mr. International goes, Mozzie's worse than Davis. Dude, Jordan Davis is Reggie White to Mozzie Smith. My issues with Jordan Davis, his ability is off the charts. His laziness is off the charts. He's got to play with a high motor. It's like tying this guy's ass to a chair and beating on him until he toughens up. We can do that. You can't fix bad play, and that's Mozzie Smith. He's not good. Got 2 feet in cement. He's got no hand technique, and he constantly gets turned in the pocket. Okay? I mean, look at Jack here. Dude, I went to Michigan, followed them closely. Mozzie barely flat. I'm with you. Jack, I thought he was their 3rd best tackle. The kid that blew his knee out and Aiden Hutchinson, those were the 2 dudes that played well. I never saw that guy there. Hey, by the way, Jack, you got a kid up there right now who's a 1st rounder. He's good. He's good. He's really, I like him. Okay? One thing Harbaugh did up there, Harbaugh recruited that Michigan program like it's a Southeastern Conference school. And that's why they started kicking Ohio State's ass. Okay? That's how they started kicking Ohio State's ass because they recruited like Southeastern Conference. Sills, is Justin Simmons signing with Atlanta? Why would he? You got another 2 weeks of camp. Hang in there. Justin Simmons doesn't need camp. Okay? He needs probably a week to catch up to speed, and he'll be ready to roll. Okay? I mean, he's probably one of my favorite players in college, Mason Graham. Dude, that kid can play. I saw him destroy Ohio State last year. I saw him destroy OSU. He is a good-looking football player. Mozzie Smith, I never saw him. Okay? I know. Hey, J215, he's trying to tell me that, what's his name, is turned him around, Mike Zimmer. I'm like, no, I don't think so. So they're admitting by trading for a defensive tackle, they're admitting that they're wrong on him. Okay? Look at what I'm awake or you. Everybody needs camp. Gardner Johnson did it. He changed the position in 1 week. Guy was drafted the final week or was traded for the final week. Came to the Eagles. Learned a new system. Completely new entire system. And got on the field and played. So wait a minute. Everyone needs camp? Hey, I'm awake or you. Does that also mean Cooper DeJean? Hey, I'm awake or you. So if we're going to go, hey, camp, wait, I'm awake or you. Camp's important, so that means Cooper DeJean too needs camp too, right? What would make you think he's going to play week 1 then? One thing before we move on to tonight's game and what I want to see by players, okay? Jeff goes, Gardner Johnson led the NFL in interception. Week of practice with the Eagles, different position. Pretty crazy, huh? So hey, by the way, you think CeeDee Lamb needs camp? I don't. Anyway, one thing I want to say before we get moving on for tonight. So I thought I was watching a television show from 2016, and I realized I was watching woke-ass ESPN talking about Colin Kaepernick potentially coming back to the league and playing for the Chargers. God, I can't wait for this story to end. Why would they bring something up so stupid like that? You know why? They're race baiting. It's a race baiting network. Nobody cares about Colin Kaepernick being black, white, green, orange, politics. Can you play? Can you help me? My problem with Colin Kaepernick is there's other leagues. He could have played and showed people he really wanted to play. He didn't want to play. Josh Johnson wants to play. He wanted to play. 14 different teams. Colin Kaepernick is a disgrace by using the league as a shield. He took the payoff. He took the settlement. Now he's still bitching and moaning about equity and justice. Welcome to the NFL. Welcome to the NFL. Welcome to life. He is a joke. Absolutely. I cannot wait for Oprah Winfrey to go away. Dude, he's weird. He's a weird guy. He is. He's just a weird dude. I'm still working 7 years. I mean, he's weird. And now they're talking about him being a coach on his staff. Boy, do the Chargers need like publicity that much? Come on, man. What's the point? What possibly could Colin Kaepernick teach Justin Herbert? Nothing. They don't even play the same type of game. Stupid. Absolutely ridiculous, stupid. And you got ESPN like, hey, maybe he gets back into. Shut up. Race bait network. As a coach, sure. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Anyway. Tonight, against the Patriots tonight, we gave you a little bit of an exercise on what Vic Fangio is trying to do this year. And I got a really great lesson. So some pretty good coordinators last night that told me exactly what he's going to try to accomplish. Who is the one player tonight you guys want to see? Okay? Who's the one player you want to see tonight? One guy. Abe says Trotter. Becton, Nolan Smith. Huff. Okay. I wrote down a list of 10 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys. 10 guys I want to see tonight playing this game against the Patriots. And I agree with you guys a lot. I want to see Jeremiah Trotter tonight. I'm going to play him 3 quarters tonight. I'm going to put this guy in a position, if I'm Vic Fangio, and I'm going to make the positions a little bit more uncomfortable. I'm going to put him in a position tonight where I want to make sure that that player tonight has to think on his feet, and I want him to be on the field a ton tonight. I want to see how he reacts after getting beat. I want to see him play the run. I want to see him play in third down. I want to see him play as much as possible tonight. If you played him 3 quarters tonight, I'd be great. If you played him 3 quarters in Minnesota too, that's fine with me. This bullshit, I know Vic Fangio thinks this way because I asked Dave Wannstedt. Vic Fangio is not that bullshit way of, you know what tonight's going to be interesting? How is the front office going to pull that over on Howie Roseman that they want to save a guy who's only had 218 NFL snaps in Nakobe Dean, when Vic Fangio knows that guy needs about 218 snaps in the exhibition season before you can make a proper assessment on him? Do you know that the Eagles probably don't even have a fair evaluation after 2 years on him yet? That's my bitch with him. You don't even know what the fuck he is. After 2 years. You have no idea. 218, and I've said it. Jeremiah Trotter has shown me more in 4 months than what Dean has shown me in 2 years. He's shown me more in practice than what Dean has shown me. Listen to people talk about Dean. He'll make a play, and get this, they'll blow that play up like he played great all game. Talk to Vic about that. Vic don't talk like that and sound like that. Yet you hear people on the radio, or you hear analysts, they even come on our network, will blow that one play up to make it sound like he's had a good camp. 218 NFL snaps he's had. By the way, this is nothing personal. This is nothing personal at Nakobe. I don't give a shit about Nakobe Dean as a human being at all. That's not our conversation here. That's not the NFL's conversation when they're evaluating a player. Do you want the guy to be a good dude? Sure you do. You want him to be a good teammate? Yeah. You know, those are the last 2, 3 things in an evaluation. Hey, is he a good guy? That's the last thing you ask. Can he play? So Spike goes, it's personal. Really? So Spike would play a good guy over a dick. Dude, I'd play Satan at linebacker if he helped my team win. That's how the league thinks. How many weirdo dudes and bad guys have they played in this league? Over good people. Tim Tebow is a great guy. Tim Tebow is a God-fearing man. Tim Tebow was absolutely a God-fearing man. Think that mattered? Hell no. Hell no. OJ and Jim Brown weren't good dudes, correct? Did it matter? No. Dude, this is not about the Hall of Good Guy. Nobody evaluates players like that. It starts with, is he a good dude? That's father of the year in like home and garden shit. This is more, can he play? Is he good? Is he durable? How much money does he make? Oh, by the way, is he a good guy or not? Is he a good teammate? That's 5 and 6. Hey, Jameson Smith, do you really believe I mean that? Euphemisms. Jesus. I said that one time on the air that, hey, I don't give a shit what a guy does. You got to take a knife out, slash away, baby. Get him off the field. Sileo wants to cut someone's throat. All about mentalities, my friends. All about mentalities. Try to think like a gladiator, not a radiator. I mean, you guys want to take the gladiator out of the player. Turn him into some good dude. Don't care about that shit. Ray Lewis was accused of murder. So let me guess. The Ravens should have cut him, right? Oh, I forgot. Hey, I'm sorry, guys. I'll tone that back because I don't want to take you in the locker room too much. Yeah, I don't think some of you guys can handle that. So, pardon me. I'm sorry for going on some of the people that I've known and played with that think like that. Apologize. Or coaches that think like that too. So I apologize. I'll soften it up for you, Philly and NFL fans. I'll make you feel a little better about yourself. Fair enough? I'm so sorry. I didn't want you to, get too upset. Because, you win championships with snowflakes. So, hey, if I offended anybody, I so apologize. Second guy I want to see, Quinyon Mitchell. But I want to see him at corner. Okay? I want to see him at corner. I know you want to get him in the slot. Hey, play him over there in the slot tonight. Play him in the slot. Okay. Hey, JK, let me ask you something here. One thing. Hold on for a second. Would you really want me to tell you the kind of guy that Andre Waters was? Would you really want to know? Don't ask me to tell you about Andre Waters. You know what? You know how sometimes you meet somebody and you're really disappointed because they're not a very nice person or they're a little sharp or the personality is not really a great personality? Don't ever ask me to tell you about my friend Andre Waters. He's come in my studio all the time. Jerome introduced me to him. I think he's on this billboard here. I think I went to this golf tournament with him. Is he on this thing? Oh, here he is. Andre Waters. Yeah, we did this event together. Don't ask me. I hate to burst your bubble. Guy. I'm going to tell you, man. Don't say anything stupid around him. You might get slapped. You might get slapped. He wasn't somebody to fuck with. Okay? Good dude. Good dude. But don't fuck around with him and say something that will insult him. Hey. Man, God rest your soul, brother. I love you to death, man. But yeah. Oh. Yeah. I saw him slap a guy at Bennigan's once who came over and was rude because he had like his family with him. And somebody said something. He was drunk. He got up and slapped the shit out of this guy. Holy shit. I sat there and drank my beer. The bartender comes over and says some shit to me. And I go, Hey, man, Andre was right. The guy came over and was being very rude. Sat down, drank his beer. He looked at me, and I go, I got nothing to say, man. I got nothing to say. There's some dudes, man, like moving a pen on the desk next to him. If he didn't know you, he'd knock you out for that. Now, if he knew you, man, he was great. Hey, you guys see that Seth Joyner that you see on JAKIB and WIP and all that? That ain't the same dude that played with Jerome and those guys. He's tapered it down. That's not the same guy I met when I was 21 years old. That ain't the same dude. That's not the same guy. He's a nice fellow now. All love, Sills. You're a good man. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you very much. It is really a lot of euphemisms, Jameson. I used to try to build myself into a lather, Just crazy shit, man. Oof. So I heard fights back to Philly where Jerome and Andre playing cards in the back of the plane were wild. Hey, dude, especially, they're playing. You know what they're playing? They're either playing Tonk or they're playing Spades. And they're in the back of the plane. And a couple of beers in, you never know who's going to get the shit slapped out of them. Especially on that team. You didn't know who was going to get the shit slapped out of you. Hey, man, I got to tell you something here. I saw Xander Krauss on today. And I did the blasphemous thing. I saw that he had the sniffles. And so I was like, hey, man. So I sent him a text and he goes like this. Are you fucking crazy? You think I miss anything over that? Who the hell do you think I am? You think I played in the Big Ten? I don't miss games, man. I'm an SEC man. I don't miss games. Don't forget, Cole's with us at 4:30. It is our man from Birds 365, Xander Krauss. He joins us now. We appreciate it. How you doing, brother? Appreciate you doing this, man.
Big Cells, what's up, brother? How you doing?
All good, man. How's it going there?
It's going good, man. Ready for the game tonight. Excited to see who gets out there, who gets some playing time, who makes a play, who shows why they belong on the football team, who's got more hunger than the other guy. I'm pretty jacked up, Big Cells. Look, you only get, if they go to the playoffs and you got regular season 17, you only get 20, if you're lucky,
right,
20 times a year that this team dresses up and plays another football team. So anytime they do it, I'm pretty pumped up, to be honest. I know everybody has, everybody diminishes the meaning, and I get it because there's really not much to it these games, but I still get jacked up. It still feels like a game day for me.
Absolutely, it is a game day for me as well. Overall view, I mean, what do you want to see tonight from these guys?
I want to see a player make a play. You're not going to – I'm not going into this game. I want to see Jalen Hurts. You're not going to see that. You're not going to see Jalen Carter. You're not even going to see guys like Bryce Huff. Who's the guy from 25 to 53 that's going to go out and make a couple plays tonight? That's going to show that they belong on the football team. That's going to show that they belong in the NFL. Those are the guys I get jacked up for. But, to name a few, I think Trotter Jr. is going to have a great chance tonight to continue to show he's more ready than people expected. I think that's a good chance for him tonight. I think Nakobe Dean's going to get time tonight. I think he's a guy I'm looking for. Nolan Smith, I don't know how much he's going to play, but you better make the most of your snaps tonight. Jalix Hunt, the rookie who was the project player, who's kind of shown a little bit more. Maybe he can be something tonight. And then the backup offensive lineman, I think that's a good one. And the wide receivers. I mean, you're not going to have AJ, you're not going to have Devontae out there, but are you going to have Paris Campbell? Are you going to have, I don't know, Paris probably still injured. You're going to have Anais Smith, Johnny Wilson, John Ross, These guys, go and make a play. Go and do something that shows everybody you deserve to belong in this on this team and in this league. And that's what I get pumped up about with the preseason games, because it kind of shows the back end of the roster. It shows the guys who are fighting it. Fans are enamored, me included, with the top end guys, with the Jalen's and with the Devontaes. Well, those guys are fine. They're locked in. They're getting paid. Go down to the bottom of the roster and look for the guys, and that's where I think you can really see.
You know why that's important? You win Super Bowls with the war of attrition.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay,
you're talking
bottom of rosters.
Yeah, look at the Eagles, man.
Save your season.
It's true.
And help you. Hey, a backup helped you win a Super Bowl. Okay, that backup was playing exhibition football for the Eagles in 2017.
Yep, no doubt. No doubt. A couple good ones in the chat everybody's bringing up too. Milton Williams, I want to see him. Kendall Milton. Oh, no, I think he's talking about Kendall Milton too. Kendall Milton's a good one, but yeah, we'll see. A lot of good guys, but Sills, you're definitely right. War of attrition, man. So these guys, this is their time to show that they're more valuable to the team than their skill set shows, in isolated moments. What do you bring to this team that you can provide when we need it? It's not always talent, by the way. It's not always I'm the best, I can catch the ball or I can run the fastest. There's a lot of other things that the back end of the roster is good for too. And I think you see that in preseason games.
Absolutely. Guys, please hit the like button. I'm going to get to some of the things. Xander, was it too technical what I was saying earlier about Vic Fangio?
No, not at all.
Okay,
I love those types of breakdowns.
Because I think sometimes what people are assuming is that they're looking at it, well, there's going to be a giant hole. Because I heard you guys say that, and I go, that's the mousetrap, though. He wants you in the condensed area of the middle of the field because he knows he doesn't have the personnel, Xander.
Right.
Where the Eagles are going to get beat is not the middle of the field. The Eagles are going to get beat on the numbers if they get beat at all. Is going to be beat on the numbers because those are where your explosion plays come from. Explosion plays don't come from the middle of the field, usually. Now, my problem what Vic does is this with this two-deep defense and this two-high safety defense. It's so deep. The linebackers are underneath. You have this gap there. But what it does is, Xander, as soon as that snap happens, they have disguised that coverage into a different coverage. They go to a different landmark, and it forces quarterbacks who had a preconceived notion on where they were going with that landmark because they saw the safety over here, that when they see that movement post-snap, they've got to make an adjustment again. And that creates confusion with the quarterback because he has to make an adjustment, dropping back, watching it, and processing it. It's more technical. This is why, my opinion, that they're not really going to play a lot of the young guys right away, and they're putting Quinyon Mitchell in that slot because they're trying to get him on the field. And this is why I'm still saying, and I'm going to book it, it's Isaiah, Reed, CJ, and it is going to be Slay starting against the Green Bay Packers. I'm more convinced than ever before now that it's going to be that. Now, they're going to matriculate those guys in, and they're going to try to get Quinyon. I think their opinion, they would like to have Quinyon Mitchell beat out Isaiah Rodgers by week 4.
Yeah, but why by week 4? I mean, if I see what you're saying, and I understand that
it's communication.
It's communication and veterans, play into that. I understand that part of it, but if the goal is to get them on the field anyway, don't you want that Band-Aid being ripped off as early as possible?
Then why not put him in the exhibition season and get him some snaps? Sure. The only snaps that you're going to get him are in Green Bay. That's not going to be good enough for Vic Fangio. He is not going to trust that.
Well, who are you talking about? Because I think you're going to see Quinyon tonight.
No. He's going to, but he's not going to. You're saying you want to get him. If the objective is to get him to start, why not just start him right away? Well, at the end of the day, does he know the communication? Has he seen these defenses? How many reps has he actually got in game? Those practices are good reps. The stuff tonight, you can't, like Phil Sims said on this program, those are quality rep in-game moments. Nakobe Dean's only played 218 NFL snaps. To sit here and say, I'm not going to give him any more snaps, but a little bit tonight and a little bit against Minnesota, and then drop him in against the Packers is insane. You don't even know You don't even have a fair evaluation on 218 snaps on a player. How are you floating? There's no way, Vic, tonight, and I'll tell you this season, Xander, the front office and Vic Fangio convincing him not to play the younger players more tonight and play them a lot next week. I think that's going to be a battle because he knows full well to play that style of 2D safety, you have to have communication skills. And you've got to have seen crossing routes, wheel routes, all that shit that people like Andy Reid and Matt LaFleur are going to throw at you. That's not something you just draw on a chalkboard and follow.
Yeah, right. It's you need experience with it to be able to understand it at the level.
Quinyon's better. There is no doubt, in my opinion, that Quinyon Mitchell is a better corner, probably than Isaiah. But right now, Isaiah, how can a guy who didn't play ball last year have the front seat right now at the left corner position over the guy who drafted 22? It's simple. It's not hard, and it's not a rip. It's that guy knows more about the position and what he's being asked to do. He played a zone at Toledo, okay? But you hadn't seen an NFL zone. You haven't played against crossing routes. You don't understand how complex this 2 deep safety is because you're setting a trap, like I said, in the middle. Look at what the Chiefs did to the experienced Eagles in that Super Bowl. They were running into one another at the fourth quarter, dude. Can you imagine putting rookies back there like Cooper DeJean and putting Quinyon Mitchell back there against Andy Reid? Not that they couldn't do it, but they would confuse them.
Yeah, I just wonder how they're going to balance this because I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. It almost makes so much sense. It's like, why would they not go that way? But the flip side to it, the alternative is how much are they going to value, going through the growing pains and getting their young guys on the field over, doing what you said, where you have the approach with guys that may be lesser talented or maybe have lesser upsides, but they understand the intricacies. Which way are they going to choose? I mean, if you think it's Vic Fangio, I think he would go your route. I think he would choose the more experienced guys. If you're talking about Howie Roseman and maybe even Nick Sirianni, I think he wants those young guys on the field. Certainly Howie Roseman, obviously. He wants the guys he drafted on the field. But, I just wonder what they're going to value. What's their value system going to be? Because by the way, I don't dislike either route. I understand each route, and I like the opposite route where you put the younger guys on because you got to get them out there. And if you're not going to be a great defense anyway from jump, or you're not stacked with talent all over the roster anyway, you might as well learn with the young guys. You might as well get them out there as quickly as possible, especially if you believe they're the more talented player. Because by week 9, week 10, week 11, week 17, and the wild card, that's when they should have it figured out. And we've talked about it. We want this team playing the best football in December. Okay. In January. Oh. Is playing all the vets the best way to get that? Or is it getting the young guys out there, allowing them to acclimate, going through maybe some ugly – you might start 1-3. You might start 2-4.
It's where I'm going here. Okay, how much are you going to value your record if you're Howie Roseman, if you're 1-3 or you're 2-3 out of the gate because you're going through growing pains? Are you going to be able to weather that if you're 2-3, but at the end of the year, you're playing like a 14-win team? Hey, look at Kansas City, dude. The last 2 years, they have done exactly what you said, Xander. They even moved off a need this offseason here because they believe what they're going to do with their young guys. I think in Kansas City, they're sacrificing W's in the regular season so that they can be better by December and January for their defense. Now, is that going to go over with Philly? Is that going to go over with the front office? Are you going to be cool with being 2-3 out of the gate? But by December, you've got maybe a top 10 defense and all the growing pains were worth it. How do you balance that? Because I think that front office doesn't like to look bad in any way. I think
you're right.
I think Vic would sacrifice a loss, okay? A couple losses early to get the guys that he wants on the field. What will they do, and how will Nick handle that? Because he's got a ton of – this, again, lies into when you bring Nick back, you create pressure on the head coach with that kind of philosophy.
Yeah, with the wins, losses. I agree, but, Last year we had the inverse where we started 10-1 and then you lose all the games at the back end.
I'd rather be 10-1 down the stretch.
That's what I'm saying. But you got to get there. You can't lose your locker room. You can't lose the fan base. You got to keep everything together. And that would be the challenge with doing it this way. Now, by the way, you look at that start of that roster or the start of this season.
Falcons.
Packers, that's a tough game. Falcons, Saints, Bucks, Browns, Giants. I like the Eagles in at least 3 of those games.
I'll tell you what, that Falcons team's going to be something different.
That Falcons team doesn't scare me. I'm sorry, they do. They just don't. And who else doesn't scare me is the Saints. Johnny Mack.
You're looking at half the side of the ball, though. Kirk Cousins versus that defense.
Yeah, we've never had an issue with Kirk Cousins. He throws a lot of yards, but he doesn't tend to beat us. And I just think we're going to be a better football team at that point. And
so what you're saying, you think you're going to be a better football team playing young guys against
but all right, either way, if you want to say the Falcons are going to win, and let's say the Packers win too. Packers, Falcons. I like the Eagles versus the Saints and the Bucks, even with young guys. That's 2-2. Then you have Browns, Giants. If you want to give the Browns a win, I don't think they would. But go ahead. Browns, you split, you take the Giants. Now I'm 3-3. Then you go Bengals, Jags, Cowboys. That's a tougher stretch. By that point, though, you got to be hoping that those young guys have taken that next step forward. So, it's only going to fly, Sills, if you're going to win at the back end of the year. By the way, we have a very favorable back end of our schedule.
Yeah.
You have the Giants, the Commanders, the Steelers, the Panthers. Those last 5 games, you got Panthers, then Steelers, then Commanders, then Cowboys, which may or may not be a wash game. Probably won't be, but you know how some of our Cowboys games have gone down the stretch. And then Giants, which will be potentially a wash game as well. I don't know. It's a tough battle. Look, it's a tough debate on what to do. I think they're going to prioritize the young guys would be my guess.
Well, then you're going to sacrifice wins early.
Yeah.
How about I'm there if you're cool to handle it. I think Bob brings a great point up here. The tape leading up to the bye week, because week 5, I think the bye will determine the organization and how they react. Tape doesn't lie. High in the sky doesn't lie, like Bob says. See, I think
this right here. This is the comment as well right here. Riding the Bench, Eagles podcast puts, is it win now or sustain longevity? Philly's trying to play both sides of the coin. Well, that's what every team is kind of trying. Every GM riding the bench is trying to play that coin in a way. Win now and win long term. Every coach is trying to win now. Coaches don't look 3 years ahead. Coaches could get fired on one bad season. GMs have to think, especially a GM like Howie Roseman, who has the job security. He's thinking longevity, but he also understands he's compiled a roster that's being paid that needs to win now. So, I don't think it's a bad thing that they're kind of trying to play both sides of the coin. They just have to play it right, or it could cost them big one way or the other.
I just got to think that it's going to be hard to peel that onion back off of Vic and sit there and go, hey, Vic, play all the young guys. It's not.
Yeah, but
I don't know anywhere he's ever gone where he's done that.
Look, I think you're right. For the most part, he'd probably like to go veterans, but I don't think every position he's clamoring for a veteran.
No,
I don't think he's clamoring for a veteran at linebacker.
I think he is a secondary.
He's got Slay, and you got Gardner Johnson, and you got Reed Blankenship, who's been here.
Boy, I got to count on a lot of Band-Aids there when you just mentioned those two guys. There's a lot of Band-Aids.
He's almost 35 now.
Hey, man.
Yeah, no, you're right. Look, but there's a lot of what ifs in the NFL, man. What if this guy gets hurt? What if, the ball bounces this way? What if we fumble? There's a lot. That's part of the game.
Yeah, so but I don't like talking what if on experience.
Yeah, but what's the goal then? Do you approach it with experience only?
No. My objective is to get Isaiah Rodgers out there, Reed, Gardner Johnson, and Slay, and start with that. And then get reps and put these guys in winning positions. Give them a chance to eat, Xander. Don't force feed them. Put them in a position to succeed. The more they succeed, the more reps they get. These guys have had no reps.
What kind of football?
How can a guy from Toledo line up against the Packers on September 6th and people are thinking he's going to be a lockdown corner?
What kind of football are we going to be playing then in December? If you get these guys and your plan is to get them out there.
You're sacrificing wins early for that. I'm up for that. I'm good for that.
By what you're saying go veterans or go experience.
Early.
Okay. Oh, go experience early. Okay, let's just say the young guys come in around week 6. How are they playing at the end of the year versus if they got those first 6 weeks?
Yes.
That's what you're balancing. Because if they're not playing good in December and January, who gives a shit about the first 6 weeks?
I think that's what Vic's mentality is going to be, is to try to get these guys up to speed, and he'll start matriculating them, because you know why? You'll want the younger players taking over for the older players mid-season, because a guy like Slay, how about this? You ready for this one? Slay may be beat out by the end of the year because he may not have enough gas in the tank to run down the line late in the year. He's 35 years old. Quinyon Mitchell may be actually playing for him, and Isaiah may be playing on the other side.
Yeah, well,
that's what I think.
That's why you want him out there. He says, answer the Toledo question. What was the Toledo question? I know you said something about Toledo.
My point was, you're playing against Toledo, and the only true quality reps you're going to get in-game are going to be September 6th if you're not getting enough quality reps now. And for me, get them quality reps earlier in the year. Get them more reps. Get them up to speed. Get them up to game tempo, NFL speed tempo. By the way, he's a good player. He'll come faster than he'll come along faster than anybody else will. You know why? He's probably the most talented guy back there. So he'll come along quicker.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tony, I hear what you're saying. Tony wants me to answer what you were saying about, can a Toledo guy play versus the NFL without the experience? Tony, eventually you got to rip the Band-Aid off. I mean, you drafted the guy. If you didn't want to draft him and you didn't want to play him, then shit, pick a different guy. I'm not going to sit here and hide behind the fact that he didn't play competition. He got drafted. Get him out there. I mean, look, I'm not going to say it is what it is, right? I mean, I don't love that he played at Toledo either. It's a question mark for me too. But he's just going to sit there and not play him because he doesn't have the experience? I mean, there's no perfect moment to get somebody their first experience. That's just the reality.
As long as you're willing to sacrifice wins early, that's fine. I
don't know if you have to look, I hear what you're saying. You might lower your chances, but that doesn't mean you're going to lose the game.
If you put Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell in a starting lineup against the Packers, you'll get blown out.
I don't agree with that.
Okay. So
I'm not saying that they won't be
the only time Cooper DeJean has seen game situation has been at Iowa against Northwestern.
All right, so our offense puts up 34 points in the game.
So wait. Like I said, he's only played his last game was against Northwestern.
Same thing I just said to Tony. Are you going to sit here and hide behind that shit for the whole year?
I said, if you think that he's going to line up against some wide receiver from Northwestern and then turn around and line up against a wide receiver from the Green Bay Packers in week 1 of September 6th against Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur, you are asking for an awful lot from a young football player. I understand
what you're saying. You're right. But that doesn't mean you're going to lose the game.
Okay, well, I'm saying you will.
Okay, that's big sales.
Yeah, you're not.
I think that those guys don't play offense.
The way Vic's acting, he agrees with me.
Well, he's also started to make a shift.
We'll see tonight.
Dean, that's it. It'll be interesting to see where they go with linebacker. Nakobe Dean's starting to get more first-team reps. I don't know what the whole Zach Bond thing is, dude. If you think about it, this guy's 28 years old. He's never been an off-ball linebacker once in his career. Like, what are we trying to do?
I think his shine has worn off a little bit here.
Well, but my point is, what are we trying to do with this guy? There's not another team in the league. There's not another coach he's been with that's put him at off-ball linebacker and felt good about it. Now he's going to come to Philly at 28. You're already a made player at 28. You're not really developing. You are who you are at that point.
So his cast has been dyed. I mean, his die has been cast. You know who he is.
Yeah, I just, Zach Bond, I don't think he's going to be the off-ball linebacker. That's going to leave you with Nakobe Dean and Devin White. I'm very intrigued so far by Trotter Jr. I think he's looked better than most people have expected him to look. He's got the instinct. He looks like a pro. I mean, a lot of times you wait when guys come into the league, you kind of wait for them to get up to that NFL body, right? You kind of like TJ Edwards. He came in, he wasn't built, and then he built his body. Trotter Jr. already looks the part, and with the instincts and what he knows, I think he could be a viable option at linebacker. I'm not saying we're going to be the top linebacker for the league, but will he be better than Devin White, who has more talent, has more athleticism, but struggles with the first step, who can't get off a block or whatever it is, and is out of position? They might prioritize that.
I just that linebacking core, if you're asking Devin White and Nakobe Dean to be your two interior linebackers, you're asking for disaster. I just do not believe in those two dudes whatsoever that they can play in that scheme. However, I see why Vic's doing it, because you need athleticism in the middle to try to play. You have to have athleticism in the middle of that defense.
Ripping you to shreds like he always does.
No, whatever, man. What the hell does he know? Anyway, so like I said, I mean, you know what's funny? It's crazy when, like, I saw JB go like this. What ifs? No, I hate what ifs. I want to know who you are today on August 15th. I don't like what ifs. I want to know who's the best player today. Isaiah Rodgers is the best corner too. Who's the best safeties? By the way, Gardner Johnson, is he really your best safety right now, being on the IR? He's played 15 games in 2 years.
Well, here's the battle, Sills, because if you're saying that those guys are more experienced and they're better right now, then it's a no-brainer. But if we're going from the assumption or the belief
that's an if
that Quignon's better, well, we don't know. I mean, I think Vic has a good idea through all the practices. We're not up close and personal. We can't see the practices. They don't show us anything. So Quinyon Mitchell might be the more talented guy. Isaiah Rodgers might be the more experienced guy. That's the question. If Isaiah is both better right now and more experienced, then I don't think it's a question.
See,
I think what you're battling is you have more talent with the young guys.
That's why they're trying to put him in the slot over there.
Yeah, I don't like the slot for him. I'd rather get him to the outside.
They're trying to get him on the field, though. Again, like I said, what ifs? No. I want to have much. See, look, I think Quinyon Mitchell's ability is here, and I think Isaiah's probably here. But I think Isaiah's knowledge is 10 times more than what Quinyon's is. And you're going to play Isaiah because Isaiah's got a better package to offer.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's not quite as talented, okay, but he's 10 times more. I wouldn't say 10 times, but he's more experienced. The no-brainer is playing that guy. Remember, Xander, you got to have a combination of that experience and talent. Talent doesn't win you, man. You guys tried to line up an all-star team a couple of years back, and you had that dream team thing. That dream team was a disaster. You can have all the talented guys you want on your team, but if you don't have the right guys on your team to plug in, you're not winning shit.
Sills, you can't buy experience, man. You can't buy it.
Correct. You got
other than a free agent. So you got to play it. Exactly. So that's where I'm like, maybe you should just get him on the field. Just get him on the field.
I agree. Okay, look, let's go here. I want to see Kellen Moore tonight.
He's not going to show you a whole lot of shit, man.
No, but I want to see how he's going to use Shipley. I
don't think he uses any of his real game plans. That's the problem with it. That's why I just look for individual traits in guys. But I hear you. Go ahead.
I want to see the rotation of the right guard tonight.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Who gets the most reps? I also want to see tight end 2. How you handle that? Because look, one thing you got to count on, Xander, or you got to. How about this? Don't you feel you got to be better prepared for Dallas going down?
No doubt. I mean, is he 30 now or 29? Yeah, no doubt about that one. I mean, look, you're right. I thought you named really a couple good ones there. Right guard's going to be interesting. I want to see Trevor Keegan. Is he going to get more reps now? You know what I mean? Is he an option in the future? I like him. So go ahead.
Boy, your topic made me think about that Mekhi Becton thing for next year. Dude, if that guy plays 17 games, you're right. He's not coming back.
No, he's
Keegan is the future starter at right guard. That's your starter at right guard. Okay? So
yeah,
get him as many reps.
Say that, but I agree.
Get him as many reps as possible tonight and also against Minnesota. And get him in there because you know why? You're right. Dude, if that guy plays 17 ball games, he puts in a solid year, man, he's going to show that he could get out there at 6'8", play inside, and go back to his normal position. There'll be 25 teams out there wanting him. The Eagles are going to sit there and have to decide whether to pay him. I would have paid Isaac Seumalo the money more than I would have give Micaiah Becton. You know what I'm saying? I would have paid him. So you're right. I think that the more success he has, the less likelihood I think he is of coming back.
Yeah, I think you're right about that for sure.
I think Keegan. I think you and me are going to be dead on with that Keegan pick, man. I know we both like that.
I loved him coming out, baby. I loved him coming out in the 5th round.
34 starts at Michigan, captain, national champion.
Yep. Beer chugging on the parade, baby. Reminded me of Kelsey.
Hey, dude, I like him a lot, man. What do you make of that kickoff? I haven't asked you a lot of this. What about that kickoff bullshit?
Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, it just seems like there's going to be a bunch of touchbacks still. You know, I don't think it's going to change much. You know, you're going to have one guy return something, and that'll be it. You know, I don't know. What have we seen? Have we seen anything different?
I'm confused with it. I don't really know.
They line up, I guess. I don't know. All close together. That, you know, it's kind of goofy. It's not really all that innovative.
Hey, if you wanted to do something, why didn't you just move it back to the 20?
Yeah, right. And make them return it every time. I guess they're trying to mitigate injuries a little bit more. You know what I mean? When the special teamers are running all the way up the field, it's bigger contact, I guess you could say. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I don't think it matters much. I don't know. Do I care? It doesn't.
No, not really. I'm with you, man.
Impact the game. I mean,
yeah. Again,
I shouldn't say that. Special teams does impact the game. I know that, but I don't know. I'm not that fascinated by the new kickoff.
I'm not either, man. I'm not. Somebody asked me the other day about it. Have you seen it? I go, I don't even think I've really even talked about it on my program yet. Yeah. Xander, that's awesome stuff, my friend. I think you've absolutely been killing it on Birds 365 with you and John. John's really doing a great job covering it. I mean, we got you wall to wall, I'm sure. Is there anything tonight you're doing?
We've been killing it, man. Our segments on JAKIB have been crushing it with me and you.
Good.
Yesterday was a good one, man. So it was good stuff.
Hey, are you doing anything tonight?
Yeah, I'll be doing a post-game show with John tonight after the game. So nothing too long. John will not be there, so
just
we'll
a couple comments tonight after the ball game tonight.
Just a couple takeaways, probably 30 minutes, maybe up to an hour, and we'll do that after the game tonight. I won't be doing anything during the game. Sorry to all my people who were there last time. We had a good show last time, but I won't be doing it tonight.
Hey, is that right? Did Justin Simmons just sign with the Falcons?
I don't know. I keep seeing some stuff float around, and
wow, Simmons. So they got Simmons today, and they got Matthew Judon today. I'm telling you, dog. If that guy can play consistent ball, their big thing was
getting the quarterback. It looks like it's confirmed, but
boy, hey, Atlanta's going to be. It's going to be interesting to watch them what they say. Xander, where are we in the likes right now, my friend?
Let me double check, brother. 174.
Fantastic, guys. Let's pick it up a little bit. I really appreciate you guys. Xander, we'll catch you on the post-game show tonight after Patriots and Eagles, and then tomorrow, Birds 365. Don't forget, Farzetta starts off our broadcasting. We are absolutely killing it. Thank you so much. And thank you again, my friend Sean. We can't thank you guys enough for the super chats. Xander, we'll catch you tonight and tomorrow. Thanks a lot, brother.
See you, Sills. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank all you guys. You guys are the best. I'll catch you tonight.
Absolutely. Xander Krauss there. And don't forget also, too, folks, BetUS. We are powered by BetUS, and we are so proud to be involved with them here at JAKIB Sports. If you're looking for a new book this coming football season, this is your place. No question about it. This is going to be one whale of a football season this year. 125% bonus in your first 3 deposits. How about that? And that's up to $2,000. So you can also go into crypto. That's up to 200%. So go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Michael Vick loves the place. It's the home of Michael Vick. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service. 365 days of the year. That's betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor. When you roll there, tell them Big Sil sent you.
Michael Vick at betus.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. And let me say this. Let me take this out of here so I don't show a number. Just got a nice text from Rich McKay, the president of the Atlanta Falcons, 1 year, $8.5 million with incentives to Justin Simmons. They had been in conversation. He was in Atlanta last week. They were just waiting. Now you have Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons as your safeties in Atlanta. And you add Matthew Judon. No, Drew. Justin Simmons is not a Kevin Byard. Kevin Byard's best years were behind him when you signed him. Okay? Now you have Jesse Bates, who you gave the most money to any safety in the NFL a year ago to, and you gave a guy who, one thing's for sure, Yale. This is a 1-year deal here. But why didn't the Eagles sign a 1-year deal? Get this, and Simmons only signed a 1-year deal. It's a 1-year deal. This was not 2-3 years. They gave up no assets. It's 1 year, $8 million. Simmons on the other side of Gardner Johnson. One thing Justin Simmons is, too, is healthy. You got two safeties that are constantly injured, including Reed. Okay? Howie's done that before. Here's your problem once again. Jesse Bates and here, let's do this. Who has better safeties? The Falcons or the Eagles? Who has better safeties? Watch this bullshit. Who has better safeties right now? Good. Way to go, guys. Okay. That's how you run a 2 deep. But Yale's impressed with an injured Gardner Johnson and Reed Blankenship. Okay. We were talking about the differences between the Falcons. You're not impressed with Jesse Bates, an all-pro, and a guy who was second-team all-pro, but you're impressed with Reed Blankenship and Gardner Johnson, who's played 15 games in 2 years, and with Raheem Morris on that side of the ball also. Okay. Well, yeah, you and I will massively disagree on that one. Reed Blankenship and Gardner Johnson. Gardner Johnson can't tackle, right, Harold? He's terrible at it. He didn't tackle in 22. Get this. Get this, okay? He's 30 years old. Well, at least he plays. Let's see how the defenses compare in the end. Okay, let's. They play in a lesser division, and they've got the easiest schedule in the league next to the Saints. Okay, let's see. Let's see how that rolls. Okay. And you add Matthew Judon, who was sensational last year. Does have a propensity to run out of gas. It played on the 8th best defense with 4 wins last year. Think about that. Matthew Judon last year played on the 8th best defense, and they had only 4 wins a year ago. Dude, I'm glad we're going here before we go back to what I want to see tonight here. And Jason Cole will join us at the bottom of the hour. Here are my top 5 NFC rosters. And I'm talking 53-man. 49ers 1. I got the Lions 2. I got the Chiefs 3. I got the Bengals 4. I got the Bears and the Rams 5. Those would be my top 5 rosters in the NFL. Not NFC, excuse me. In the NFL. Balance. Both sides of the ball. 53-man deep. Okay? I got it, Crowley. I made a mistake. I meant NFL, not NFC. Hey, Chris, we'll see how good your corners and your safeties are by the end of the year, right? At least those guys on August 12th, August 15th, I know who they are. At least I know who they are. They're all pros. At least I know what I'm getting. You have to do the ifs, ands, and buts. Right, JB? Cousins will have the most interceptions thrown this season. Yeah. How come he's never done that in his career? And Jalen had 15 a year ago. I believe Howie is going to make a move for a linebacker. Who? Before the trading deadline. It'll be a level 2 guy. That's okay. I thought Gardner Johnson was a level 2 guy. Eugene, Atlanta safeties are good regardless of whether they play in the Link or Wawa parking lot. Eugene, the Eagle fans just don't want to pass up that they think they have with Reed Blankenship and Gardner Johnson better safeties than the Atlanta Falcons, which they do not. Which they do not. And by the way, you how many people believe that Bryce Huff is a better edge rusher today than Matthew Judon? Let's see this one. What up, Jesus? Appreciate it, brother. Falcons ain't going no damn Super. I didn't say they were. I didn't say they were. Matthew Judon is a guy who could play with his hand down and up and covers. I still think he struggles late in the year at times. I think he's run out of gas a little bit. Okay, I think he. Okay, hey, Naughty thinks that Bryce Huff is a better player than Matthew Judon. based off of 1 year. Okay. 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 He was asked to do NS. He was asked to do multiple things a year ago. Let's take a look at Matthew Judon as a football player, playing on the top 10 defense in New England for the last 10 years. Let's see what he's done in his career up there. Matthew Judon stats. Let's take a look at that. What this guy has done, being a versatile and I guarantee you, Vic Fangio would love to have him. That's the kind of guy that fits that system and that high two. Very good. Let's see here what he's done. I forgot he played in Baltimore. That's right. Wow. Yeah, he played in Baltimore. Yeah, that's right. He got hurt early last year, too. I remember that. Right. Year before that, in the last 3 years, he's got 32 sacks in 3 years. 32 sacks in 3 years. James Bradbury was second team. Dude, Daniel, okay. You're right. Justin Simmons sucks. And Reed's better. Sure. Okay. Thanks for the super chat, Daniel. Daniel, Reed Blankenship's better than Jesse Bates, and he's better than Justin Simmons. Okay. You believe that? I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise. I'm taking CJ and Dijon over anybody. I said what I said. Okay. Taking a guy who the last rep he played against was Northwestern against Iowa Northwestern, over a guy who's an all-pro. Okay, fair enough. No problem. By the way, I'm not talking about future. I'm talking about this year. Sills, now all of us Simmons is old and washed up. Comments are coming because we didn't get him. Brian, there you go. That's right. Remember what they said about Gardner Johnson? He was a locker room cancer. He was Big Marshall I love, but Big Marshall also forgets. Remember when everyone called Gardner Johnson a locker room cancer? Shit all over the fans. Wasn't really a good tackler. And said that it's best suited he's not here any longer. Remember that one? All of a sudden now, he's all pro. And he's better than Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons. Why? Because he's an Eagle? Oh, okay. Simmons is getting paid $8.5 million on a one-year deal. Not multiple deal. He didn't get this. So I was wrong. And so was Xander. This guy wasn't looking for a 3-year contract. He got $8.5 million, more than Gardner Johnson, by the way, on a one-year contract to play for the Falcons and for Raheem Morris. Wasn't a multiple year deal. So people aren't understanding Falcons doing these moves and improves them to a playoff team. If the Eagles do those moves, they become a Super Bowl contender. That's been my point the whole time. That's right. Big rhythm. You nailed it. Perfect. Eagles make those two moves with Judon and with Simmons. You're in the Super Bowl. The Falcons do those moves. They're battling for the NFC South. Yes, that's exactly the difference. You're not good enough on defense. You're just not. And by the way, it's a great debate that Xander and I had. Do you play the younger guys now? Or do you play the veteran guys? And are you going to be willing to sacrifice losses? I mean, you're going to be playing against some pretty good quarterbacks that are going to dissect that defense. We don't need all-stars all over the field. No, you just need competent players. You don't have competent linebackers right now. Okay? Get this, Kelly Green goes, we could have paid that. How about this, Kelly Green? You got $30 million in cap space. You could have paid for both moves. But they believe in Nolan Smith, and they believe in Bryce Huff. They have to believe it. They drafted him 30th, and they paid him $50 million. Howie's reputation's on the line. Remember what I told you earlier about the Cowboys coming to grips and coming to have a Jesus conversation? They had to make a trade with the Giants to get a tackle. That's admitting failure on Mozzie Smith. Wait, because I said Bradbury was all pro, gonna infer I think Blankenship is better than Bates or Simmons. I never said that. Okay. I thought you implied that. I didn't say that. I wanted CJ back. And DeJean is a baller. You'll eat those words. Okay. We'll see. Once again, ifs, ands, and buts. I wish they were dollar bills. Okay. I know I'm telling the truth. Hey, Abe. Hey, Abe, see how people get bent out of shape over the truth? I mean, it's crazy. All the pressure is going to be on Howie if the draft picks he picked don't come out the way everyone believes, such as Rager. I don't believe you have a Justin Rager in that draft, except for that kid Smith. And that's not a crazy draft pick to die on or rip Howie over. If that kid Anais Smith doesn't do shit, I don't care. I could care less. He's just been awful on defense. And his track record proves it. Howie Roseman's draft record sucks on defense. Out loud. Judon, 8 to 9 could have got him. Yeah, well, they signed him for 8.5. Okay. Hey, Drew, if you want to say Reed Blankenship on the 31st ranked defense in pass coverage was better than Justin Simmons, have at it. Okay. You were almost last in pass coverage. I'd love to have Bates and Judon on this team and Edwards for $6 million. Imagine how this D would look with those guys on it. Amazing. Amazing, Daniel. If you had TJ Edwards and you added Matthew Judon and you put on the other side Bryce Huff with those 2 guys and 3 guys in the middle, and then you had TJ Edwards in the middle, you don't have to have great pass coverage to linebackers, because the amount of pressure you're going to get on the quarterback, the volume is going to go back up again. And you're going to put less strain on your safeties and on your cornerbacks. Remember what I explained to you earlier when it came to what Vic was trying to accomplish? I like what Atlanta did. Atlanta didn't invest the future. They didn't invest the future. Even in the Judon pick. They have, but get this too. They don't have a deal with Matthew Judon yet. They're working on a deal that's going to be able to come and work out for each other. They're going to want a short-term deal with him. The Atlanta Falcons are not going to be putting up massive amount of years and money for Matthew Judon and Bates. They're trying to get better now because they see an opportunity to take the NFC South. All Sills talks about is how horrible the defense is. No, actually more inexperience and horrible linebackers. Sorry, dude. Your offense is good. What more do you want me to say? I think both coordinators are looking really good. Hey, dude, I'm not justifying for you to make yourself feel better. Go somewhere else. Okay, Joe? I'm not going to make you feel better about yourself. I mean, I'm tired of quantifying a take because you get your ass and butt hurt. I don't care. Sills, do you ever play Madden? Yeah, I do. Okay. Yeah, I do. Judon's a Falcon. Yes. 1 year, $8.5 million. I got a text from Rich McKay, the president of the Falcons, who's actually been on our program. That's kind of what I try to do, Jack. Thank you. Okay. Eagles defense will be okay. Offense needs to be elite. And Andrew. Okay. Hey, JB, when you say what ifs, what if am I talking about? I don't ever talk in what ifs. What if what? What if what? What if? What if? What are you talking about? Quantify yourself. What if? What if? I'm going to be interesting to hear that. What if? What are you talking about? Well, then tell me what it is. I'm awake, or you. What if? What if? Tell me what it is. Tell me what it is. JB, where are you? What if? I'm awake, or you? Tell me, what's the what if I'm talking about? I never talk in what ifs. Give me what if. What if? No comment. JB, then you, what if? What if? Yeah, you're lying. Fake news. We don't talk and pretending and projecting and what you're not today. We never do that. We tell you exactly who you are right now. Not projecting. Not telling me what you think your guy is. What if he does this? What if he does that? We don't do that. It's a bull-faced lie. We don't. Taylor goes, what if prostitutes were legal? Shit, you'd have 80 kids around Philadelphia. Yeah. I'm kidding, dude. What if? Hey, what if Bryce Huff, he gives us 15 sacks? Okay. Based off 1 year. What if? It's a new one for me. Daniel, thank you for the super chat and the laugh. Sounds just like a camel toe voter. Accuse someone of doing something they can't give any facts to. Wait, I meant Kamala. I meant her. Sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. I apologize. Please forgive me. You're a true. I apologize, man. I'm sorry I slipped out. What if Sileo won a Powerball? Now there we're going. That's what I'm saying. I'm awake, or you? Sorry, man. I apologize, dude. Oh, Sean. Good stuff. Jason Cole's going to join us in a couple minutes. Hey, Tony, how you doing, man? Guys, I'm willing to believe what Xander said when he was on the program last hour. Here's what you want to know what the proper formula is for the Eagles to win the NFL championship this year. It might be to go 11-6 or 10-7. It might be that just to get the NFC East, a home playoff game. And once you get into the playoffs, you're playing like a 14-win team because you had played all the young guys early. But I don't think the fan base, the coach, and the front office can handle early season losses because the perception that they're doing things wrong and nothing was rectified of a year ago. I said you weren't very good when you were 10-1. And no one believed me. Don't you think we can sit here and dissect if we see things coming along and they're getting better and better every week? You know, once again, I'll say this to you guys. I'll give you a story, Tony Dungy. When Dungy was building that football team in Tampa, and then Gruden came in and won. They started out with Tony Dungy 0-8. And John Lynch, Sapp, Brooks, all them guys who would go on to the Hall of Fame, all were like this, shit. We're 0-8, man. We're 0-8. And coach walked in and they saw the faces, and Coach Dungy went up to Lynch and goes, what's the matter? He goes, Coach, we're 0-8. He goes, man, we're not going anywhere. He goes, funny. I think you guys are right here. You guys are this close to greatness. And right then and there, the entire locker room changed their mentality, and the Bucs were built. Because the mentality was like, damn, the coach sees it. He sees it. You know who was on that staff? Mike Tomlin. Okay, Lovie Smith. Monty Kiffin. Herm Edwards. Raheem Morris. You had some of the best defensive minds. Clyde Christensen, offensive coordinator. You had all those coaches on that staff. And they knew they were getting better. They knew they were getting better. Sometimes the players don't see it. The fans don't see it. But they knew. Okay? They knew what was going on. So, yeah. I'll tell you what, this is going to be an interesting season this year in National Football League, to say the least. Now, before we start here, folks, this is not a political conversation. Jason Cole's in the green room now, and I want him to know this, that this is not where this is coming from here. But I turn on the network, and I'm watching people talking to me about a 7-year-old story. And I'm trying to figure out what's the point. Why would John Harbaugh want to try to bring Colin Kaepernick into an organization? Is it because they need more fans in the seats? More people? More? I don't believe Jim Harbaugh is that type of dude that he does shit for that. If you don't know John or Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh, and you don't know the Harbaughs, that's not kind of what they do. They're all about winning. And there's something to it. They got kind of like a secret crazy recipe, kind of like some magic potion, crazy witch on how they look at business. By the way, you ever want to win football games? You hire a Harbaugh. Those guys don't lose. But what's the point of this? I mean, isn't this a dead story? Colin Kaepernick got $20 million from the league. It's called FU money and go away money. What's the point of bringing this stuff up? Me included. Maybe I'm guilty. Let's bring in our Hall of Fame voter. Covers the National Football League all these years, Jason Cole. Jace, am I making an anthill into trying to make it into a molehill here? I mean, is that what this is?
Well, I mean, he offered him a coaching job, not a playing job.
That's going to lead to playing.
I don't know. I don't think that Kaepernick can play at this point in time. I mean, he's been out of it too long.
Why would Kaepernick? What would he bring to Justin Herbert? They're completely different styles.
I don't know. That's a question for. I mean, Look, Harbaugh has always been a defender of Colin Kaepernick. Thought
He
was a great
has.
player. And he believes in him. And Kaepernick worked hard for him. They had success together. Like they got this close to winning the Super Bowl, right?
The lights don't go out. Who knows, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, or they call a pass interference call, or like there's 100 little things that could have happened in that game where the 49ers could have won. Like it was that close, right?
Yep.
I mean, it came. So, he has a fond memory and a fond place in his heart for Colin Kaepernick. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. I don't know what kind of coach Colin Kaepernick could be because he's never been one to my knowledge. I don't think he can play after this long out of the game. So I'm not really there's just a mental reaction to the speed of the game that I think it's hard to get back after that much time. You miss a year or two, even maybe 3.
Sure.
Okay, maybe you can get it back. But the game moves after that, the game starts to move so fast. I don't know that you can pick it up, certainly not quickly. And
even the rule changes change the dynamics of the game.
Yeah, but I mean you can adjust to, but it's the physical timing of the game that I think you have a hard time. So I don't take that seriously from you thinking. I don't buy that. I buy this as a coaching issue. And does Colin have something that he can bring to the team? I don't know. I again, that's a Harbaugh thing. But he's going to defend his guy. And I admire Harbaugh. It's not necessarily how I would do it, but it's how he does it. It's how he runs his life. It's how he runs his team, and it works for him.
So it's more of a reflection of him being loyal to his guys.
Absolutely. He believes in his guy. He believes in his guy.
Looked at it that way.
Yeah, if you go through it with Jim Harbaugh, and you live it and work at it the way that Jim Harbaugh wants, you have passed the test. I don't want to say it's like the Marines, but it's that kind of feeling. You're one of us. You know what it's like to endure the toughness that I ask for. And there's no question about that. If you want to talk about people who teach toughness, mental and physical, the Harbaughs are at the top of your list of guys who teach toughness.
Jason, with this 18-game schedule rolling around, which both of us completely agreed that it's happening, do you believe in the next 3 years that exhibition football will be eliminated?
Not completely. It's going to take a little while, but I've always asked this question from people. Why is the colleges can get away with no exhibitions? And all of a sudden you get to the pros and you get smarter, better players, and they need to have exhibition games? Why? I always said, the college guys can do it.
Yeah, Miami's lining up against Florida August 31st, right? I mean, they're not playing FAMU the week before.
And even if they were, that game would still count, right? That's right. Okay. The score counts, right? It's not. We're not selling. We're not selling something that doesn't count, right? I just always want why do you need it? Now I know they'll always say, well, we got to have practice to see which young guys can cut it and can't and all that. I get it. You want to see guys under the lights. I get it. There's more pressure to win. You got to work them. All those things. You can do that in scrimmages, right? And allow guys to have scrimmages, live scrimmages. Bring in other teams to do some live scrimmages, because that's what it really, exhibition football really is. It's what is it? 60 plays for each team of a scrimmage.
Yeah.
Okay. Run a scrimmage controlled environment thing. Do that during a practice.
And more teams are doing multiple controlled scrimmages during the camps. And so that's why I'm saying, 18 games. How many of these exhibition games? Maybe one?
Well, I've always said this too. I've said this too. If you charge, I don't know what
full
season
price.
tickets.
It's full price for the games tonight.
Right, I understand. But if you said, okay, I'm charging $1,000 for 10 contests, right? And that includes the exhibition games. And it used to be you had to buy 2 games worth of it, and then you got you got the 8 home games, right?
Yep.
Now we're sort of with the 17 game schedule that varies a little bit, but if it's $1,000, you're basically paying $100 a ticket. If you whittle it down to, I'm charging $1,000, but it's only 9 games, people are still paying.
Oh yeah,
right. If they want to go to the games, they're still going to pay the price for those tickets. You can just prorate it. So I don't understand the need for exhibition football, especially when you're going to play 18 games.
Correct. Doug Pederson in Jacksonville, kind of in your neck of the woods. We kind of broached it a little bit last week, and I even heard some more talk about it. Does Doug have to win this year? Or
well, I think they have to show
replacing him?
I don't think necessarily replacing him, but they can't regress. So, yeah, and I'm backtracking on what I just said. I think as long as they show progress and like they're fighting for the division title and they're finishing strong and all those other things, then Doug's fine. If they're not in it right down to the end and like that team falters significantly and regresses, then I think there's, like, do you need to bring somebody in who can put their foot on Trevor Lawrence and get the most out of Trevor Lawrence? Because that's what Doug.
But Chase, this is a guy who hasn't had a losing season in Jacksonville.
I like. Look,
my question would be, how many coaches since Coughlin? I mean, maybe Doug Marrone had a few, but I mean, how many people have put back-to-back non-losing seasons in Jacksonville?
It's still an NFL. It's still an NFL city with an NFL squad with a lot of talent, right? That's number one.
And with a new stadium, with a new stadium
coming in. And look, they took a number 1 overall pick, a guy who was supposed to be the next big thing coming out of Clemson.
Paid him that way.
And now they have paid him. And it's time for him to become the next big thing. And I'm not sure that Trevor Lawrence is going to get there, but like that's the plan, right? Like the ingredients have been purchased. Go and cook the meal. It's not just good enough to be okay. You're expected to win when you have that number 1 overall guy with that kind of pedigree. There's pressure that goes with that. And I like Doug Pederson a lot. I mean, I'm friends with him since he was a player. I was there when he was on the field when Shula broke the record for the most victories, right? And all those kinds of really great things. But you got to win. And he knows the score just like everybody else does.
Atlanta Falcons have been very busy today, obviously. Matthew Judon, they get, and then they just signed Justin Simmons to a 1-year, $8.5 million contract. I just text Rich McKay, congratulated him on this. I mean, they're all pushing their chips in right now. I mean, Arthur Blank, I mean, boy, I'll tell you what, plus they did the Cousins deal. Then they turned around and shocked everybody with the Michael Penix, who actually looked very good last week. And I was pleasantly surprised how well he looked. And then, you put the Cousins deal in, you made the Bijan Robinson, the Jesse Bates the year before. I mean, what's your takeaway with the Falcons? I think they could be a very interesting ball team this year.
Well, I think they should win that division. They got the best quarterback in the division, right?
Yeah,
they might have the top 2 quarterbacks in that division.
Yeah,
because I think
they got the best back in the division too.
Yeah, and the tight end, the kid out of Florida, is good. That's a good.
They got a receiver there too.
Yeah, London's good. They've got weapons. Offensive line still a little shaky, but better than it was 2-3 years ago.
Yep.
And then you get Judon and you get Simmons, both on short.
And now you're good at all levels. You're good in the pass rush. Your linebackers are decent, and you're good. You got 2 of the best tandem safeties, at least for this year, with Bates and Simmons, who was second-team All-Pro, and Bates was first-team All-Pro. I got to tell you, man. And then, you're handing Raheem Morris a pretty good-looking football team.
Right, and I think that team should win, and the rest of the division doesn't scare me.
Right.
And Baker Mayfield is okay, and the weapons
Bucks are decent.
Bucks are decent. A couple of good receivers, some depth. They've got offensive tackles real good. New Orleans defense is solid. Derek Carr's, Derek Carr. He's a league average quarterback. Carolina's still trying to build. And I think, the quarterback there is skilled, but he's a midget.
Yeah.
And so they got to cover him up in very significant ways. So you put that all together, like Atlanta's the team that has the fewest holes. Now, does that put them up as a serious contender with the likes of a Detroit, a Green Bay, a San Francisco, even a Philly, a Philadelphia, a Dallas? I don't think they're as good as those teams,
Nope.
but I also don't think they're very far removed, because I think it's pretty balanced. And as you and I always know, what you are today is going to be very different than what you are in week 18.
War of attrition.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Jace, I wrote these 5 teams down, and it's funny. See, when you look at Philly, you look at their team, and everyone always goes, "Oh, it's a great roster." No, it's not. Their defense has got more holes on it than a pincushion. Their offense has got superstars on it. It's an all-star football team. But I look at the 53-man roster, and I looked at these 5 teams, and I put an asterisk next to one of them. I wrote down the 49ers. These are the best 53-man rosters, both sides of the ball on all levels. 49ers, Lions,
yes,
Chiefs, Bengals.
Okay.
And these last 2 are going to probably shock you. I got the Bears, believe it or not, with that roster and what they've done. And I got to tell you, the more and more I break down the Rams, I don't know what it is, even losing Aaron Donald, man, that Rams team is good.
Yeah, it's a good. I agree with that.
It's a good team.
Yeah, it is. It's not a great one, especially.
Doesn't it just dictate on Stafford's health, though?
I will say this: I think you're missing the Ravens, and I think that the Steelers are pretty high up too. I'm not sure they're in the top 5, and the quarterback situation is a problem. But I like the Ravens a lot. Like the depth of that roster, especially on defense, is really
They
good.
do so many things great there with Eric DeCosta and Ozzie Newsome and all them guys, man. They really do a great job.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've built in a way that is different. Particularly, they've built around a quarterback, and I've always said this: they have dedicated to building around a quarterback who is slightly unconventional, and that's hard to do. You have to do different things to make sure that it works with a guy like Lamar Jackson. Not because he's inaccurate, can't play, but the game, you're playing a slightly different game with him. And they've done everything in the world to make sure that works. And it has. And they have mined his greatness by how they've built that roster. But defensively, man, they're blunt force trauma to take on, just like the Steelers are blunt force trauma. But that gets you back to the question of Philadelphia. I think they've lost some important depth, and they lost 2 star players in the offseason, and we've talked about it before with Kelsey and Cox, right? These are
Reddick.
Reddick.
We gave him 30 sacks in 2 years.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You lose 3 guys like that, you don't replace that right away. But they do have some guys, Jalen Carter's.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the next Jerome.
The rest of the offensive line is real
fantastic.
Good. Right. So the roster's still pretty darn good. They just have, they've got some guys that they got to replace, and Graham's gotten a year older too, all those things. So, yeah, they have some questions. I will say this, Howie does a really good job at the draft. He gets it. And I think that they'll replenish those spots sooner than you know.
Do you think that Brian Dable survives the end of the year and Joe Schoen survives the end of the year? I mean, you get rid of Barkley, you let him just walk out the building. You really haven't built a football team since those guys have been in the building. He had 1 year, and I think it was a novelty year that he had because he hasn't shown any improvement. The quarterback, you have Byers or Morse on. Hell, you tried to make a deal for Jaden Daniels. I mean, and this, again, that's not Wellington Mara. Now, I like John a lot, and I'm friends with that family, but that's not Wellington Mara. And I got to tell you, I can't believe the Mara family or the Tishes are going to go very much further with this whole setup here, because is that Belichick going back home?
I think you only do Belichick if you have a ready-made team, right?
Because he's chasing Shula down.
Well, and he's going to want a ready-made situation. He's going to want to take over a team that the quarterback is there, this is there, or even if the quarterback's there, the rest of the rest of the roster is really good. That kind of thing. Could you imagine if he went to Buffalo? The hate between the Pats.
Because if McDermott doesn't win this year, Jason, I could see that guy. You know what? You got to win, man.
I hadn't thought of Bill in Buffalo, but boy, that would be something.
Can you imagine Bill rolling into Buffalo and Gillette Stadium with Josh Allen and him running that Buffalo defense and then putting the wood to them and then taking that Buffalo Bills to a Super Bowl and actually winning it?
Yeah.
I mean,
now, but let's reel it back though to the Giants for a second, because the other one is off. The Bills are obvious, but the Giants are not, because I think there's so much you have to rebuild on that team.
Oh God, the whole levels everywhere. Secondary, linebackers.
Yeah, but you start with the quarterback just ain't good enough.
Oh, he's terrible.
He's not good enough, and finding that guy is so hard. And as Bill's not been great about finding quarterbacks, right? So I think again, Bill's going to be looking for a ready-made situation.
I got two more for you here. I had Butch Davis on yesterday, and we were talking about when they went into Dallas. And I said, what was the most important thing you went into Dallas? He goes, there was one dude in charge. And I go, let me guess. It wasn't Jerry. He goes, no, it was Jimmy. And he was like had 54 deals in 5 years. Actually, get this. This is what he said to me last night. Butch goes, we did more trades in 5 years than the entire league did combined in those 5 years when nobody was trading the way we were trading. And he said that, yeah. And I go, what's wrong with Dallas? I asked him, he was on yesterday, but I asked him when I called him at home, and he goes, what's wrong with Dallas? He goes, Jerry just can't, he's not a personnel guy, man. He just doesn't really
but he wants to be a personnel guy.
And I guess when you own the team, you can pretend to be.
Hey, I told you the story about,
I was Napoleon one time for Halloween, but I never really ever thought I was Napoleon.
Well, but he can pretend to be Napoleon. Sitting in his driving. This is when he was driving the Lincoln Town car around. This is before they finished the stadium, and so he drove me out to the stadium, and we looked at everything, and he was talking about how this is a dream and how they built it, and then he was talking about I remember being on a bus and reading about all these coaches and thinking about I wanted to be a football coach and do all this kind of stuff. And he goes, then I found out how much money they made. And I said, hey, I can't do that. Right? It got in the way of the bigger dream. But his first real love was to build a football team, to be a coach. And
initially he was going to buy the Chargers.
Yeah.
Get this. He told Steve and I came on the program once and said that he was going to buy the Chargers from Gene Klein. He would, because when Gene Klein was going to sell
before the
Spanos family, he was going to buy the team from Gene Klein. The team was for sale, and he goes, he put all his money, the insurance money, the oil well money, put it all together. Father came in and parachuted in and said, "Don't buy it." So at the very last second, 23rd hour, he doesn't buy the team. And I was in the building when he bought the team. And he bought it for $154 million. And Jimmy told me he had nothing left. I mean, he did everything, and he got rid of things. He sold things. He cut things. He emptied the entire Valley Ranch. I mean, he had no money. And now that team is worth $10.2 billion. It's one of the great. You know what Trump even said? Worst investment of all time. I'm like, wait, he invested 154. Now it's worth 10.2 billion. You might want that one back, Junior.
Yeah, you'll take that one. You'll take that one back, Donald. Jerry is a marketing genius. And it's when we were in the Hall of Fame discussion, and we were talking about it, and I raised my hand to speak.
How do you put him in over Bob Kraft?
Well, that's a different point. I mean, Bob Kraft needs to be in, and he just hasn't been brought up yet.
Okay.
It's not side by side. Okay.
So you don't go and progress. You got it just comes with ownership.
Yeah, there's a committee that decides who the candidate.
Okay.
And it's not like a full slate of contributors in front of us. We just get the one or two names that we're considering for that year. And it's either up or down, right? So, the year that he was on the ballot, I remember I just said, people, he's the P.T. Barnum of this league.
Oh, yeah.
He is the guy who is, raised from an ownership standpoint, has raised the level of, of attention for this league and made
Who
it
did
a
more
show.
for the league, you think? Al Davis or him?
Oh, Al, see, you can't really judge it because the league was already sort of established by the time Jerry got there. Jerry's done it with, in the modern day where, the ball was already rolling down the lane, okay, headed for the pins, okay. Jerry just made sure that we were hitting the 1-3 pocket split, right? Making sure that we got right there. Guys like, when you talk about guys like Tex Schramm and Al Davis and Lamar Hunt and and Bud Adams, all those guys who invested in this, right?
Burt Bell.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, those guys, Pete Rozelle, those guys, they had a different task at the time, and it was a harder task. And Wellington Mara, who you brought up earlier, making the decision, let's share TV money because I got to make sure the teams that are in the league are healthy. Not only am I going to be healthy because I'm the New York team, but Green Bay's got to be healthy, right? Minnesota's got to be healthy. So I'm going to share my TV revenue. So, people making those kinds of decisions, those are tough decisions, right? And those are tough. Those are builders of the league. Jerry took what they had done and said, okay, let me inject my sort of, psychological steroids on this whole thing and just push it to a whole different level. So, different tasks, different job. So I always put Al ahead of him, but I think that's because Al was there from the beginning. I mean, look, Al is the most famous bad guy in the history of the NFL, right? Yep. He's the black hat. If this is and I've said this to Amy Trask many times, and she totally agrees with me, right? Like, in any great soap opera, and don't get it wrong, the NFL is a soap opera, right? But in any great soap opera, you got to have good guys, and you better have some bad guys. And Al Davis is the greatest bad guy to ever walk the grounds of the NFL ever. He is the black hat right there, stirring up trouble.
I loved working for him. I just loved working for him, and always great getting no cause. Dan, this is Fudgy. Coach Davis will be on the horn in a minute. And you're like, and he'll go, what are the Buccaneers doing with Charlie Gardner and Tim Brown? Al, I'm a morning show host for the Buccaneer flagship. What are you doing here? I mean,
I don't know.
Right. I mean, then what's his name? Bruce Allen would go, did Al Davis call you? And I'm like, and these two guys went back and forth because how the whole thing went with Gruden, and what a mess that whole thing used to be. I got to finish a story to you before I let you go.
Okay.
So my uncle, Robustelli, told me this story about Wellington Mara and Lombardi. Okay. And I think, because I know you love history of the game. And so there was an understanding between Wellington Mara and that guy who just resigned of the Packers. And there was a deal on the tape. God, I can't remember his name anyway. But there was some sort of deal that after that Howell guy left, Lombardi was the OC of the Giants.
Yeah.
And there was, after he left, that he would come back to be the head coach of the New York Giants because he's coveted that job.
Yeah,
so
he's a Jersey guy.
He's a Jersey guy, right? Went to school in New York there. That's St. Cecilia's. He's a Sheepshead guy. I know he's a Sheepshead Bay guy. And so get this. So they went out to lunch. They're getting ready. They're going to play a game. The next year he was supposed to have a conversation about going back to New York. So Wellington Mary goes, I got to go to the bathroom. You're right back. It's a championship game that's to be played the next day at Lambeau. Wellington Mary goes like this. I looked around 20 minutes later. Lombardi left me in the restaurant. Hey, the lore of the NFL. He goes, Lombardi left me in the restaurant in Appleton.
And left him with a check. And left him with a check, too.
And left him with the check, walked out the back and said, make sure you leave this note. We're going to kick your ass.
That sounds like Lombardi. Oh, yep. That's like who did that one? Oh, it was. I'm trying to remember when Holmgren was in Green Bay. It was the day that they were hosting the 49ers or something like that. It was one of the Green Bay San Francisco playoff games.
Oh, those were great games.
Right, and Holmgren is coaching the Packers, and before the game, Bill Walsh is working as like an intermediary for the 49ers and walks into Holmgren's office and goes, Mike, would like to talk to you about coming back to coach the 49ers. And Holmgren's going, I got to coach a game, Bill. What are you doing to me? Get out of my office. I'm not doing that.
I love those stories when you hear that stuff. I mean, I didn't realize this. Get this. That guy, Al Lerner, offered the Cleveland Browns job to Jimmy Johnson. And Butch said it yesterday on my program that he offered him, get this, he offered him $5.5 million a year back then in 2001.
Could you imagine getting Jimmy to live in Cleveland?
No way. Leaving Almirada and the Keys, not happening.
No possible way.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Jimmy Johnson in snow sounds like
Al Lerner offered him the job.
Sure. He's probably been offered a dozen jobs. I'm gonna leave you with this last one. So Al Davis, it was 1 year. It was Gruden's last year, and it was whichever playoff game they were losing. And Gruden's, Al is just in the owner's box, and he's got Gruden's family, including I think two of his boys in there, and Gruden's dad is in there. And he is just livid with Gruden during this playoff game, right? Just cussing up a storm. I think it was the game that they lost to Baltimore. Remember when Siragusa planted Gannon in the turf?
Yep.
And he's just swearing up one side and down the other. And then he was kind of shocked because he'd been doing this in front of Gruden's kids and in front of Gruden's dad. And he was shocked when Gruden wanted out.
Oh, I was on the phone. Get this. Well, I'll leave it again. I was on the phone. I'm in the parking lot with Al, and I'm in the Fox Sports Radio. I get a call from Al Davis, and he goes, this is why it was shocking. And people don't know this story, but I'm going to say exactly. Al goes, can you believe that MFer and that backstabbing Bruce Allen? And Amy Trask even said it on my Twitter, no comment. Those two son of a bitches, I hope those, and he's just railing. And he goes, they want out. Well, he goes, the Buccaneers are going to have to give me 3 1s for him. Those no good, filthy son. Al hated John Gruden. And how the kid hired him, I'll never understand how the kid hired him when the father rolled over in his grave when John Gruden was walking the sidelines as a Raider head coach. He couldn't stand him and Bruce Allen. He thought those two he called them Judases. I mean, he hated them too. I'm not really supposed to tell that story that much, but
everybody's dead now, or at least
Al. I couldn't tell that story when Al was alive. I couldn't tell that story. when
there
he was alive.
are so many classics. And now that Mike Ornstein's gone, we just lost a lot more stories about the Raiders.
Oh,
but yeah,
God.
rest in peace, Mark.
No
Mike
doubt was he. That guy was. Hey, you talk about like Herbert Hoover, or not who? The guy at the FBI.
J. Edgar
Hoover with the file cabinet. There's the file cabinet of the NFL right there.
Yes,
the whole John Elway Raiders deal, trying to bring him to the Raiders and all that shit. There was faxes going back and forth. John Elway's supposed to be a Raider. We could go on forever. Jace, thank you so much, my friend.
Anytime.
You got it. That is the great Jason Cole. We so appreciate it. NFL Hall of Fame voter. We so appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're going to reset. And some of you guys missed my breakdown of what to look for Vic Fangio's defense. We're going to do it again. And we're going to talk about some of the players tonight to look for as they get ready to take on the Patriots tonight around 7 o'clock. So we're going to do that. Please hit the like button. Where are we on the like list, my friend? Guys, where are we on that like list? Appreciate you guys so much. You guys have been great. Super chats and everything. Tonight, again, I don't believe that we're going to see a lot of the first-team offensive guys playing tonight. But I do think you're going to be able to get a little fundamentals. 233. Let's try to get it to 250. We got an hour left in the program. Please hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Please hit the like button. We are going to go back and talk a little bit about what Vic Fangio is going to try to accomplish this year. We'll break that down for you a little bit. We did this in the first segment of the program, so we'll kind of walk back a little bit and hit up on that in case some of you missed that. Also, it's very evident. Remember I spoke to you about woke-ass ESPN and Kaepernick? Well, they just fired Samantha Ponder. She was the only person that was coming out against dudes participating in women's sports. And she got canned for it. They cited budget cuts. She was the head of the NFL's Game Day or NFL Primetime. She was doing that Sunday show. And they fired her because she doesn't believe dudes should be participating in women's sports. Even if you have your own private view and someone asks you a question, ESPN doesn't want you to think their way. I mean, it's funny. The only people that get away there with those kind of comments is Pat McAfee and Stephen A. Smith. You can't have an opinion that doesn't coincide with a news organization or sport. ESPN is the news of the used to be. Now they're the CNN of sports. ESPN equals CNN. That's not sports coverage. They don't give you sports. What I do is an opinion show. I never pretend in any way whatsoever that I'm impartial. That's not my gig. I never have done that. I'm not fair and balanced. I'm not a journalist. I've never been a journalist. I have never been. I am a observationist. I observe something in sports and I talk about it. My opinions are not for the faint of heart. Odyssey, iHeart. You can't have a guy like me in your company. You know why? Because I don't conform with the way of how you want to execute your narrative. That's why shows like ours are hard to find. That's why many of you come here. The real zeal. Yes. Yes. The real zeal doesn't come here for Big Sills to read you a newspaper or headlines off a newspaper. Anybody could do that. That's not what we do here. Samantha Ponder didn't think that dudes should be I don't think hey, by the way, people in my family don't think what I think, but I don't think dudes should be in women's sports either. I think it's even Martina Navratilova doesn't believe it. If you don't believe that people taking steroids shouldn't be given that advantage, why would you think that a dude with higher testosterone should be given that ability over a woman? Which is it? Bonds is bad for the sport of baseball because he juiced. But you're okay with someone with higher testosterone in a women's sport. Isn't that the equivalent of juicing? I'm missing it. Let's pretend to take the politics out of it. Dude's got higher testosterone than a woman. Well, Bonds took, according to some, performance-enhancing drugs. Kept him out of the Hall of Fame. What's the difference? Fired Samantha Ponder. Crazy. I'm going to do something first here before we get into that explanation of Vic Fangio here. Kirk Herbstreit said the same thing, no dudes versus chicks. He just said he's not biting his tongue anymore. Well, he's on, you know what gets him away with it, Sean? He's on the best show that ESPN has every year, Game Day. That is the best thing. Here are the two best shows they've ever had. Okay? Game Day is number one. Game Day's number one. The second greatest show that ESPN has ever had is PTI with Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser. Two greatest shows they've ever had. Those two shows are sensational. Hey, Joe-Ho's right. Hey, dude, Bob Iger's a worm. I dealt with Bob Iger. Let me tell you a Bob Iger story with Jerry Jones around it. You'll love this. You know, Bob Iger's the guy who runs Disney, and they were talking about the new television contracts. And they had like Bob Kraft in the building. I think they had at the time when he was still alive, Paul Allen. And they had Jerry Jones sitting there. And I think the old owner of the Houston Texans, McNair, was there. And Bob Iger goes like this to Jerry Jones and the ownership when it came to the television contracts that they previously had put together. By the way, guy was in the building and guy was in the room, told me this story. Not going to tell you who it is because he's still in the league and he's the second in. He's in the NFL front office. No, he's not there anymore. So I'll tell you, it was Todd Lewicki. Todd Lewicki told me. And you guys, Todd Lewicki used to be the second in control to Roger Goodell. He was the president of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And Todd Lewicki and I became very close friends. And Lewicki was number 2. He told me the story. He goes, so this dickhead Bob Iger, by the way, NFL owners can't stand him. They can't stand Bob Iger. They push him around every time he's in the room. This is the CEO of Disney. This is a true story. So Iger starts going like this shit. You know, I've made you guys a ton of money. Ton of money. And, you know, I think we need to have a better conversation here. Jerry Jones looks over at him and says this. Well, Bob picked a piece of paper up and went like this. You know what, Bob? I don't really see your name on these checks. So before you start talking to us like that, we'll let you know what we're going to ask for when it comes to the television contracts. And we'll let you know. Don't ever talk to me like that again. Bob Iger got up and walked out of the room. And Jerry goes like this, looked over at Bob Kraft, goes, I don't give a fuck what he thinks. Bob Iger don't write these checks. Hey, Bob, fuck you. That's the power of the NFL. All the rest of these leagues, they got to kiss their ass, these TV networks. The NFL says, go fuck yourself. I'm telling you what you're paying, or you ain't paying it. Bob Iger's, he's still trying to buy the Chargers, by the way, from the Spanos family, but the Spanos don't want to sell now. Pretty insane. Hey, the things that go on behind the NFL and behind the scenes, you'd be shocked some of the stories that we know. All right. Sills is the uncle we never had. The one that is able to talk shit without no filter. Love it. Thank you, Abe. Hey, thank you, Pete. I appreciate that. I agree with you, Pete. Guys, please hit the like button. You guys have been awesome. I wrote down, before I get into the Vic stuff, because some of you missed it, and we're going to break it down again. I saw Abe liked it. Abe, you liked it, right? In the first hour of the program? Hey, Twiz, how you doing, brother? NFC quarterbacks that are going to be the most interesting this season. This is not a list of who's the best, who has the best arm, storylines in the NFC for quarterbacks that I want to see. Let me start it out. Let's start it out with the September 6th quarterback you're going to be playing against. Jordan Love. Here's my true take on him. I want to see him do it again. I think he's awful talented. He surprised me. He looks good. But I kind of want to see him do it again, right? Let's see if this progress continues because, boy, I watched him in the exhibition game this past weekend. Whew, he's good, man. I think. We'll see. Brock Purdy. Niner all day. Talking to you here. Purdy. Is he really that dude? These are the headlines for the 2024 season. Jordan Love. Do it again. Purdy. Is he really that guy? Purdy's the chosen one. Okay. Thank you, Jesus. That's awful kind of you, man. Thank you. That's really cool. Really cool, dude. Really cool. Dak Prescott. Here's the headline for Dak Prescott. If not now, Dak, when? If not now, when? Jalen Hurts, 2024. Will Jalen Hurts hurt again in 24? Or will Dr. Moore fix the ailment? It's going to come down to Kellen Moore. Purdy MVP, baby. Jared Goff. How far do you take the Lions? How far can you go? Matthew Stafford. It's the year of health. Jaden Daniels. The savior of DC. Twist says 4680, 33 touchdowns. Well, then help me out here, Twiz. Why does Vegas only have your boy at 35-25 and 21 touchdowns? Look at Twiz. He thinks he's going to throw for 3680, and Las Vegas has him at 35-25 and 21 TDs. The guys who actually put the money down. Come on, Twins. What's up? Okay, what's up, Twins? 3650 or 3550 actually, and 21 TDs. Vegas and Atlantic City have that number on your boys. You're saying 4,600? Twist, hey, Twiz, come on now. The guys who actually bet the money are saying to you he's only throwing for 3,500 yards, 21 touchdowns. But you got him at 46 touchdowns and 4,600 yards. Oh, my goodness. Me! Kirk Cousins. What impact does he have on that team this year? I'll be looking for. Jalen. Closer. Book it. $5,000. He hasn't thrown for 3,900 yards yet, but Twiz has got him at $5,000. Holy shit, you Philly fans, man. Please don't change. Hey, please don't change. I would look at Loki, 4,400 yards and only 20 touchdowns. If he only throws for 20 touchdowns, you guys will win 7 games. Holy cow. Hurts 3,600 yards, 22 TDs, 10 more rushing. Sounds about right. Derek Carr. Dude, really? Let me try to make a comparison on Derek Carr. Who's kind of like below Cousins? What quarterback is below Cousins and above Sam Darnold? Who would you put in that room? Ryan Tannehill. Doesn't Derek Carr remind you of Ryan Tannehill? Right? And he got paid a killing. Like Ryan Tannehill. Right? All right. Let's go back to this lesson here. Some of you guys have heard it. Baker Mayfield? Maybe a little bit of that. Baker's not been totally awful. No, you're right. All right. I'm not going to ask the question this time, but what I am going to do is I'm going to explain to you again on what to start looking for, on what your defense is going to look like this year. By the way, real quick, tonight against the Patriots, I want to see defensively, I want to see your linebacker combination. I want to see your edge rushers tonight, whatever they are and whoever they are. You better play them. This stuff of not playing these guys, they're not that good. What are you saving them for? Because you have nothing left? Or you really don't know? Your edge rushers are completely unproven. Completely unproven, except one with one good year, and that's Huff. Actually, the guy who's more proven as an edge rusher is Sweat. Okay? Sweat. If all the guys I wouldn't play, it might be Josh Sweat. I don't need to see Josh Sweat tonight because he's going to have to play 900 snaps this year. So if you don't want to play him, I'm with you. Senor, I'm with you on that. If you don't want to play Josh Sweat tonight, don't do it. I need that guy's knee for the entire season. So if you don't want to play him tonight, I'm good with that. I know who he is. There's no ifs about him. You know who he is. Okay? That's right. Play Huff and Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, them dudes. Roll them out there. Let's see what they are. See, hey, this conversation about Nakobe Dean is getting so obnoxious. It's disgusting. The secondary combinations, I want to see what they do. Kellen Moore tonight. Shipley, play him. Can he block? I want to watch him at pass protection tonight. Okay, what kind of pass protection? Put him in pass protection. Third, get him some reps at pass protection. Right guard combination. See how that plays out. Your tight end too. I got to be prepared because I do not believe. Hey, get this. How many people believe Dallas Goedert's going to play all 17 games this year? How many people believe that? That Dean will play all 17 games? Or no, excuse me, Dallas Goedert. Okay. Over under 14. Got to prepare for a backup. Abe goes, Goddard all 17. I don't know the last time he's played 17. Senor goes, he's playing all 20. Has he ever done that in his career? Played every game all year? Has he ever done that? Twiz goes, here's a guy that never plays all his games. Let's see. I don't know that. I don't know. You guys might be right. He might have played all his games every year of his career. Now, he didn't start, obviously. Okay, he didn't start. So, Dallas Goedert stats. Let's take a look here. Dallas Goedert. How many games has he played? Has he ever played a 17-game season in his entire NFL career? Let me see here. (2023) he was hurt. To more than that. So he's played 14, 12, 14, 9, played in 11, 9 started, played 15. The only year he's ever played all the games is his first year when he played 16 and he started 8 of them. He's never started a full season, and he's only played in a full season one time. 6 years. Twiz and Senor have him going 20 games today. This year. Well, Senor, the difference is that he's never played in his career. Oh, by the way, Jalen playing all the games last year resulted in a shitty season for him. You could have benched him numerous times last year. Hey, by the way, Senor, he played all the games hurt, didn't he, according to you? He was hurt all year or something. So, at least he was on the field. – 11 to 12 games. Let's be honest. There you go. Hey, D. Honest. Unlike your boy Lamar taking time off during the playoffs, my boy won 2 MVP awards. My boy. Yeah. My boy's a better player. You hear what Emmanuel Acho said, too. Hurts doesn't look like an all-pro player to me. Even I don't say that. Even I don't say that. Emmanuel Acho, isn't he an Eagle? Wait a minute. Isn't Emmanuel on? Wait a minute, Senor. Isn't Emmanuel Acho an Eagle? Isn't he an Eagle? I thought Emmanuel Acho was an Eagle. He says that every time I look at Jalen Hurts, I don't see Pro Bowl. I just don't see it. I mean, well, King, he was an Eagle. I think somebody told me that. He's a fake Eagle. Hey, Abe, if he's on the practice squad, he's a phony Eagle. Hey, Philly 007. Who's the other guy that was an Eagle that went and played for the Cowboys? What's that guy's name? Orlando what? What was his name? What's that guy's name? Orlando. What's that guy's name who talks shit all the time on the Eagles, man? What's that guy's name? Oh, man, he goes knee-deep into the Eagles too, man, and how the front office is. Scandrick, that's it. Yeah, it's phony fans. They got phony fans. I'm like, phony fans? I don't think that's not true. Eagle number, Orlando Scandrick. That's it. Thank you very much, Ed Citron. Yeah, that's it. Because he called James Jones. He called the Eagle guys phony fans. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not thinking that. It's not true. Emmanuel Acho was the worst. Was with the worst defense in Eagle history. Juan Castillo was the DC, and that was he was an O-line coordinator. He was. I know he was. Acho was just trying to get Shady started. Hey, one thing, Sean, you can always count on Shady's going to defend Philly Pride on that show. First, what is it? Not First Things First. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know the name of those shitty shows either. Yeah. All right. Guys, this is what to look for tonight. I drew this earlier, and I'm going to do it again here. So you guys get a good understanding of what Vic's trying to accomplish. Okay. 2 linebackers, 2 high free safeties. And here's the zone Vic wants you to run in, middle where that zone is. That's what he's wanting you to do. Okay? He wants you to be in the middle of the field. Why? Traffic. Pursuit is in the middle of the field. He doesn't want you out here making plays. He wants you in here making plays. It's pursuit. You got a guy here. You got more people being able to make plays. You got guys on the perimeter. You're limited on guys making plays. You got guys in the middle, tackles, linebackers, safeties, corners, can all make plays in here. But here on the perimeter, you're on an island. Vic doesn't want opposing teams on an island. That's not what's going to win for that defense, especially early on. You've got to have everybody in the middle of the field for you to be successful this year. Tonight, do me a favor. When you're watching this game, I guarantee you that you have, and Vic forces the Patriots quarterbacks, Jacoby Brissett, Drake May, I don't know. They're going to go and look where the wide open guy is. They're not going to be that skilled to know where to throw the ball. So they're going to throw it to the open guy. Vic wants you to go in the middle of the field. He's more about containing control and keeping you underneath. He wants you in this zone. Okay? He wants you in the middle of the field so he can make plays. Those 2 quarterbacks are not going to drive down the field on you and make a play. And if you're driving down the field and you're kicking field goals, that's exactly what Vic Fangio wants you to do. You know, it's funny. Fly Park said this. Patriots O-line's terrible. You know, last year, I remember 2 years ago, they said the same thing. Or no, it was last year. They said the same thing about the controlled practices with the Patriots had a horrible O-line. Patriots drove up and down the field on that Eagle defense last year in the pass game. Drove up and down the field on them. Couldn't get to them. We'll find out tonight. Just because you had a good practice against them doesn't mean you'll have a good game tonight against them. There lies the difference. You know what? Conversations you talk to me about a practice versus a game, I'm sorry, I don't go there. Those are quality reps tonight. Those are decent reps. So don't be talking to me about a coaching clinic versus a game. Completely 2 different things. Okay? The Patriots O-line is terrible. You better get home tonight. Patriots win 2 games. I'd be shocked if they won more than that. It's a terrible team. It's a terrible roster. Niner all day. Trent's getting traded. No way. No way. Who are you trading him for? Jordan Mailata? No way. Guys, please hit the like button. It might be 35-0 sales. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. See how it looks. So once again, Vic Fangio, what he's going to do, the quarterbacks this year because you don't have the talent on defense. He knows it. He's going to do everything in his power to try to confuse the opposing quarterbacks. How does he do that? Well, 2 high safeties, creating the space. Post-snap. See, everyone thinks, well, the opposing quarterbacks are going to complete a lot of passes underneath, and they are. He wants you to. He's surrendering that to you. He's giving you that. But in the process, he's also going to design and disguise those coverages post-snap. So you have to be a pretty intellectual quarterback to be able to understand what Fangio is trying to do to you. He's taking the offense out of the defense. Or he's taking the defense out of the defense and made it offense. And he's making you have to make a play post-snap. It's pretty smart, man. When you don't have the people and the talent in the building to make a play like that, what you have to do is you have to come up with schemes. It's not really tricking anybody. But what it is it's setting you up. It's a mousetrap. It's pretty ingenious. Kimberly, I don't get why people get so wounded when you say you like other teams and players. I'm an Eagle fan, but football fans first and foremost. Kimberly, always know this. I don't root for a team. I root for players. I'm not I've never really, outside of the Giants, because I got family relations with the Giants. Other than that, and playing for the Bucks. Like, you don't really see anything in here unless I play for them. Or some things people have given me. But other than that, these are things that I've accumulated having played or people I've played for. Both back there with Jimmy Johnson. Bobby Valentine's a family member. He sent me a book. I got Jerome Brown's hat doing the events. That Kane banner and that Buccaneer banner is the Buccaneer banner when I was drafted. And it was at my press conference, so I kept it. I mean, not really anything back there, unless I did it. So he's going to tonight. I want to see how he plays that out. Who brought that kid up? Hassan says, Sills, what's your thoughts on Jalen Mills? Should the Eagles pick him up? Didn't he play a little? Wasn't he on that 17 team? Am I right? Wasn't Jalen Mills on that? Was he on that 17 team of yours? No. Well, he wasn't on that team, was he? Was he? No. Was he on that 17 team? Jalen Mills, I think he's played like 70 ball games or some shit. Has he played? Hassan, he was? Okay. Yeah, but now he's a safety. Fly says okay. Well, he knows the culture in the building. And he knows how the building works. It's different people, obviously, except for the front office. They got the same people in the front office. I'd bring him in for a workout. I'd see what he has. I'd pick the phone up and talk to him. Hey, how you feeling? Dude, I heard he was getting cooked, though, at Giants camp. I heard he was just getting killed there. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You play with better people and you got a better coordinator. I don't know. I mean, I'd at least bring him in. I would at least bring him in or work him out, talk to him, see where he is. And I would also think that I would probably want to take a look at him because you need some help back there, or you need at least some depth back there at safety. Yeah, he was an outside corner. Never saw a first move. He didn't like. Okay, maybe safety fits his mood more. Jalen Mills, 7th round pick, longer career than most can. Oh, absolutely, man. And a Super Bowl ring. Dude, he's been playing since 17 and a 7th-round pick. Kudos to him. Twist says his best years are behind him. Yeah, but Twist, again, if you're looking for somebody to come in and give you 15, 20 plays, I mean, Gardner Johnson's hurt. You know what I'm saying? Gardner Johnson's hurt, dude. I mean, he's lucky Julio Jones slipped in the end zone at the end of the Atlanta playoff game in the Super Bowl win year. Seals says, how we make a trade? I think it's low-level trade. I think it's going to be something like that, like a low-tier type of deal where he'll make a trade like that. Yeah, and tonight, I brought some of these up with Xander, but I didn't get a chance, so I'll go the opposite way. Instead of down, I'll go up. Tonight, I'd like to see this. Hey, I'll tell you something, man, that I've been pretty impressed with. These are guys that have shined for me. Okay? Has really had a good camp. Kenny Gainwell. I'd like to play Gainwell tonight. Play him some more. He's in a contract year. Put him out there. How are you going to use him? I like Kenny Gainwell. He's having a really good camp this year. Here's Senor. Why do you dislike Jalen Hurts as a passer when Lamar has never thrown more than Jalen Hurts 2023? Because he wins with less. He wins with less. Lamar Jackson has no A.J. Brown, has no Devontae Smith. He has no Barkley. His O-line's nowhere near yours. And he wins 14 games. You asked the question. I answered it. It's not a flip-flop. What's the flip-flop? He wins with more. He wins with less players on his team. That's a fact. You asked the question, I answered it. Hurts has a full-stacked all-star team. He doesn't. He's worth the $50 million. He carries his team. Won 14 ball games. Home field advantage. 2 MVPs with no talent. Now they've added Derrick Henry. I'm talking about, no, dude, Jalen, what are you talking about? I'm talking about he didn't win the MVP award, senor, because his defense was good. He won because he was spectacular. Quarterbacks don't win the MVP award because their defense is good. He won it because he's spectacular. Dude, he doesn't have one player on that team that remotely is close to the talent level that Hurts has. Keep changing the sticks, senor. You know that. Get this, guys. To Senor's point. Last year, the Ravens didn't have a 1,000-yard receiver. They didn't have a 1,000-yard back. And they lost Mark Andrews in week 10 of last year. Week 10. And the guy still won 14 games and the most valuable player award and lost to Mahomes in the finals of the AFC Championship game. Zay Flowers didn't have 1,000 yards last year. Zay Flowers had like 800 yards. Zay Flowers is pretty damn good. He had 800 yards receiving. That's pretty damn good. Flowers is going to get 1,000 this year. Well, you got 2 of them. Well, don't worry. You're going to get a chance to see that guy up close and personal along with Derrick Henry. So get this. He says that, hey, so get this. He says he plays in an easy division. And because last year the division guys were injured, well, try the year that he won the MVP award And who was in that AFC North? Hey, bro, you can do whatever you want and say whatever you want. He wins with less players. Plain and simple. Senor, say it with me. He wins with less players on his offense than what Jalen Hurts wins with. Tell the truth. One time in your life. Say it one time in your life. Say one time in your life. He wins more games with less players. Say it. He can't, and he won't. That's not facing reality. You can't say that. Loki, true. Tell the truth. You trash Jalen Hurts for not being a good passer. But you get your cannoli wet for Lamar, who's had 31-20. I never have ever said Lamar Jackson is a great passer. Lamar Jackson's an electric player, and I agree with Acho. When I watch Hurts, I don't see electric. When I watch Lamar, he's electric, and he wins with less. You don't have to spend $200 million on an offense for him. I don't have to put high-powered players around him. I just let him go. Put Lamar on any team, we win it. DRC, absolutely. Niner all day. He's trying to convince you that Hurts is better than Lamar Jackson. Pretty soon he'll be trying to tell you that Nakobe Dean's better than Fred Warner. Oh, my God. Hey, wait a minute. I'm still waiting for the response on the ifs. I haven't still Hey, I'm still waiting for the response on the ifs. Oh, man. Lamar Jackson, best running back in the NFL, which led to 2 MVPs, 14 wins. Absolutely. What ifs? No idea what you're talking about. How many Super Bowls Lamar been to? Hey, and your guy's been to as many as Colin Kaepernick and Jimmy Garoppolo and Jake Delhomme and Jeff Hostetler. Oh, he won, actually. Oh, Donovan, too. Don't forget. Hey, James. James, it's quite funny. Senor, of course he does. Because that's what Twiz would think. Because Twiz all he sees is bullshit. Lamar's better than... Hey, Jalen Hurts is a better player than Lamar Jackson. Who in here believes that? Who believes that? Hey, James Jones, are you in here for this? Who believes that? By the way, you're going to get a chance to see that on display this year because you guys play the AFC North. No. I'm not asking you who a better passer is. Who's a better ball player? Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson? Who's a better football player? Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson? I couldn't have been more wrong about Lamar, too. Dude, I was dead wrong about him. Dead wrong. The guy is freaking insane. And I'll tell you, hey, how about this one? Can I ask you this one? Is Lamar more electric than Vic? Is Lamar Jackson more electric than Vic? Yeah. He's a better player than Michael Vick. And he's more electric than Vic. 2 MVP awards. Took a team to the AFC Championship game. What the hell has Michael Vick ever done? He didn't win any MVPs. This guy's won 2 of them. In the era of Brady, too, he won it. I think you're right, dude. Hey, Twiz thinks we're on drugs, and yet here's the guys who won 2 most valuable player awards, and Vic never won one. Like ever. And, I mean, I don't remember Michael Vick winning 14 ball games. I mean, I don't remember that. But I will say this. I don't really think Atlanta did him any favors by building a team around him. Okay? I don't think they did him any favors. I don't. Lamar's fun to watch. Jalen wins games. You know what, though, James? You see this right here? Hey, James. Tom Brady was boring. So that's not really a rip. How boring was Brady? Jesus. I mean, Brady was not electric. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is more electric. Okay? Get this. Adam says, no, he's not. What are you smoking, Sills? Reality. Lamar Jackson's 10 times more accomplished than anything Michael Vick ever did in his career. That's not a reach. That's a reality. I'm going to take a timeout. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sills National Football Show. Appreciate it very much, you guys hitting the like button. Thank you again, man. You guys have been absolutely great. Should be interesting to see tonight what ends up shaking out tonight. Let's see here. MVP is given to the quarterback with the most wins. Ravens won the most games. Yeah, okay. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Check Lamar's stats, then check Jalen's stats. Better quarterback. Okay, Sean. You take Jalen Hurts. I'll take Lamar Jackson. I don't need Lane Johnson, and I don't need some of those other guys with Lamar. Dude, it's okay. You should. Hey, I think he's going to have a really good year this year. I know, James. Don't fight it. Hey, James. How come, James, when I bring that up with other quarterbacks like Kirk Cousins who throw more yards than him, or I put up like Brock Purdy's numbers to a guy like Sean, Brock Purdy blows him away. Somehow that narrative doesn't work for Brock Purdy, but it works for Jalen over Lamar when it comes to stats. Okay? James goes F stats. Okay, Purdy. Brock Purdy's won 26 ball games in the last 2 years. I think it is. Or 27 in the last 2 years. I think something like that. He's been to a Super Bowl himself. Let's see. So Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy are the same? Okay. Hey, I know, James. It's all good, man. It's what it's all about being a fan. Hey, Niner, isn't it funny? Lamar Jackson's stats are not good because Jalen has better stats, but when I bring up Purdy's stats being better, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. Oh, okay. Well, has he been to a Super Bowl? Yeah, he actually was about 3 plays away from winning it. Hey, it's all good. Hey, by the way, James, I hear your boy Jane Daniels is going to start week 1, man. Absolutely, I'm awake or you stop the madness. I can't take it any longer. Lamar Jackson, who's won 2 MVP awards, and a guy in Purdy who's thrown for 4,200 yards and 30 TDs. And the betting favorite for Hurts is 35-25 this year and 21 touchdowns. You know what it is for Purdy? 4,500 yards and 35 touchdowns. Zay cost 2 TD. Lamar gave him the ball. Hey, Sean, I like Lamar, man. He's a quality dude. Hey, it should be a lot of fun tonight to watch and see how this thing plays out tonight. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Lot to hit on tomorrow. We should see a lot tonight. So have fun tonight. I know Xander's going to do something after the game. I'm not sure John's going to be there, but don't forget Birds 365 in the morning. And also, Farzetta at 2 in the morning, that kicks off our broadcast here on JAKIB. So, guys, have a great one. Please hit the like button. Joe, Xander, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow, 2 to 6. And we're also powered by BetUS. Again, a great relationship that we have with our friends at BetUS, so can't forget that. We really appreciate those guys being part of the program. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you on the flip side.